Guys, let me know if you can hear me okay. Doing some adjusting here when all this audio stuff. Hey everybody. Okay, good. It's not hiccuping for anyone. Is the music too loud? Let me know. I'm gonna have to do some adjustments here. Okay. Hey everybody. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through and make some adjustments here. Sorry it's so late for some of you guys. Probably gonna see if I can drop this down some. Helps a lot. It's the Ghibli Jazz Cafe music, so it's a variety of people. Yeah, I normally don't stream on Friday. I normally just kind of chill out whatever I'm doing. Honestly. Okay, that helped a little bit. I dropped the... Yeah, I dropped the bit rate going down. Well, that's good. As far as my favorite scary movie is concerned, right now it probably still is A Tale of Two Sisters. It's a South Korean film. Pretty horrifying. Hey, Pit Clover. It's okay, Cry. I understand. It's late for some of you guys. I hate that I streamed so late. I just got back home a little while ago, and then I worked out and showered and all that stuff, and I was just kind of like, you know... Well, I was checking my stats on YouTube, and I realized that someone is actually attacking me. So I was really upset about it, and I decided I was going to do a live stream to talk to you guys about it, and let you know what's going on. Because some of you don't know what's happening, and I wanted to basically do the stream to not only just chat with you guys and talk about that, but just, you know, just read some stories too, just for funsies. And I just kind of want it to be a chill day as it is, so yeah, I've been a little down. It's been really stressful at work, and I don't know. I really don't know what else to say when it comes to that regard, other than, well, work is stressful. I work a full-time job, then I come home and I work on my YouTube videos, and it's a little bit upsetting, or more upsetting than I would like to admit, that someone is, well, yeah, hey Duchess Dark. Yeah, so just to go into a little bit about what's going on. So lately, for the last couple of weeks, I haven't really said anything on the channel, but you guys have noticed that when you watch my videos that there's been a huge leap in my dislikes versus my likes, which is very strange. And many of you have mentioned it in the comments. You don't know what's going on and why it is that way. And so I did a little bit of investigating, and I talked to Corpse and I talked to a few other people, and they said that there's someone or a group of someone's going around and, well, going around and just attacking smaller YouTube channels or smaller narrating YouTube channels specifically. And I don't know why that is, and it's really upsetting because, like I said, guys, I work a full-time job and I'm stressed out all the time, and I don't get any sleep, and I still come home and I do YouTube and I narrate stories to you guys because I love it and I love what I do. And so there's been a huge influx of dislikes, and they're purposely going through my videos, my newer ones, and disliking the hell out of them. Like, there's 400, 300 plus like dislikes compared to likes, which is very strange on my channel because I normally don't get that many dislikes on my videos, which means I know someone's attacking me because it's just on my newer videos, and the ones that they know are either stories or the ones that are like getting a lot of, you know, traffic. And it looks really bad on a channel when someone's coming in for the first time and they're looking at your newer videos. They don't go through and really look at your popular uploads, especially when they see how old they are. They go through and they look at your newer stuff. And as a result, when they go through and look at your newer stuff and they see the dislikes compared to likes, and it turns them away from it. It turns them from wanting to sub to your videos. It turns them away from wanting to, you know, listen to the content that you create, because they see the ratings on there. And so I talked to YouTube and I talked to people who work in the YouTube, you know, customer service, like the YouTube help support desk, and they told me that the best thing to do right now is to go through, especially on the videos that I know are my more recent ones and the ones that are more popular, and to just hide the ratings from people. So you can still like and dislike things, you just won't be able to see them. And that's supposed to help, and that's what I've been doing for some of my channel, some of the more popular videos on my channel. I've just been going through and oh, sorry about that, guys. I've just been going through and turning off the ratings so you can't see the ratings. Like, I'm not gonna make it where you can't rate my videos at all, because like I want to be able to see who likes and who doesn't like what, and which material is, you know, just, I want to see what you guys enjoy. And lately, a lot of the newer videos I've put out, you guys have enjoyed them a lot, which, you know, says a lot to me as a content creator. So it's really upsetting and it's very disheartening when I get on my channel and I see, you know, the dislikes on my videos for no reason other than the fact that someone's just going through and just disliking them to just dislike them. And I really don't understand why it's like that, other than the fact that I'm getting attacked. That's the only explanation that I have, is that someone is going around and attacking my channel. And it's just like I said on my newer videos, guys. It's just on my newer videos. That's how I know someone's going through and doing it on purpose. So if you look at my older stuff, the more popular videos, they don't have as many dislikes. You would think that someone who is attacking me, they would at least have the sense to go through like my more popular videos and dislike them, but they're not. They're going through and attacking my newer things because they know that those are the ones that are going to be showing up on the front pages, and that's what's going to be showing up in people's notifications. That's what people are going to see when you see the recommended stuff, depending on what it is you're watching. I don't know who's attacking me. I wish I did, but it's not set up on YouTube where you can see who's disliking or liking your videos, which, you know, makes it fair. Like, I think it's good that you can't see that kind of thing, because that just means that there's possible witch hunts that might happen and unnecessary hate that would be happening, you know, on someone else's channel, because you know that you have to have a legit account in order to do this. So I don't know who's doing it. I don't understand why they're doing it. And it just hurts me a lot that this is happening, because I don't know if you guys know, I haven't really had like a real heart-to-heart with everybody recently. But I've been going through a lot of stuff, and I've been stressed out with work, and I've been stressed out at home and with finances, and coming home and doing YouTube. I don't know, like, yeah, I know, username. Like, it's silly. And, it just really bothers me that when I come home from working and being so dog tired and working like almost 12-hour days, and I come home and I put my heart and soul into what I do, and all I get back is just a lot of hate, and I really don't know why it's happening that way. And at first I was angry about it, you know, but now, like, I like to consider myself someone who, like, I take pride in not being in YouTube drama, and, you know, as mild as it is, because there's some people in the narrating community who, you know, there are people in the narrating community that aren't that savory and have brought their own drama into, you know, what's going on, like, either on social media or on their YouTube channel. And I don't want to be that person, because like I said, I don't have any drama with anyone in the community, and I like to consider myself someone that relatively gets along with everybody. I like to help everybody that I can, and I want to be there for as many people as I can, and I want to provide content for people. That's what I enjoy doing. And it's just, I don't know, like, it's just really disheartening to know that I work so hard and I put everything that I have in my work, and there's just somebody out there, or people out there, who are just mean and spiteful and try to pick me when I'm down and try to shame my work before people can even get a chance to really enjoy what I do. Because I love doing this for you guys. It means so much to me, and you guys have helped me so much through so many problems I've had. And to be attacked this way without any provocation is just, I don't know where it's coming from, and it really bothers me, because this is the one thing that I look forward to doing when I come home, and I wish I could put out videos as much as I used to. But work is just really burning me out, and the lack of sleep is just really getting to me, and I don't know what else to do except just do what other people have been telling me to do, which is just hide the ratings and hope that it doesn't dissuade people from wanting to come onto my channel and discover, you know, the content that I make. So I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to start crying. It's just been a really long 2 weeks, and for those of you who've been following me on Twitter and keeping up with me on Facebook, you'll know that, like, last week I was literally working 15 days in a row. I didn't have a single day off, and I don't really know what else to do about it, except just, you know, keep going and doing what I'm doing and being supportive by, you know, by you guys, because your support and your love and you guys watching my content and following me and cheering me on, like, means so much to me, and I just can't thank you guys enough for being there for me. So thank you so much. And I don't think I've really properly thanked everybody for me. Your support and love mean so much to me. So, thank you. Thank you. Oh, sorry guys. I didn't mean to start crying. I didn't mean to start crying, guys. I'm sorry. I just got a little emotional. It's just been one hell of a week, and trying to get through it the best I can. Oh my god. So yeah, that's pretty much just what's been going on. So hopefully things will get better. There's a few announcements that I wanted to do. As you know, there's a pretty big project going on that Atticus is doing with a writer, Henry Galley. Those of you who listen to the Eastwood Clan and listen to Blood Game that I did, those are two of the stories that he wrote, and he's a brilliant writer, and I'm really excited. But there's going to be a new podcast coming out called Conjuria, and it's like a murder mystery crime thriller noir horror like type thing, and I'm really excited about it. And apparently when the script was being written, Henry had me in mind for one of the characters, and then after he heard some of my stuff, he was really excited to get started. So I can't make too many official announcements right now. There's a Twitter that you can follow where we've been kind of teasing who all is going to be part of the project, and I'm stoked about it. I play a badass, like, private investigator. I don't really know her character too much, other than the fact that, well, just she's a PI who, right now, I just finished recording episode 1, part 1, and it's, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Yeah, so I play a character named Jenny Walker, private investigator. And thank you guys. I love you too. But it's really cool. It's going to be a new podcast. We're trying to decide what we're going to do as far as what episodes we're going to put out. Are we going to put them out like as we get them done, or we're going to pre-record a bunch of them and then release them weekly? I'm not sure yet. That's kind of like out of my hands. That's not really like my thing. I'm just the actress. I don't really have a major like part in the production process outside of recording and promotional bits. But I do know that there are going to be some pretty big people involved. David from the No Sleep podcast is playing a character in the story. One of the No Sleep people who produces the music is going to be working on it. And there's several other people that are going to be involved. I wish I could tell you guys like who all is going to be involved in it. As far as details go, but I can't really give away too much, because nothing's been solidified yet as far as casting outside of like me. I know I'm in it, obviously, but there is a pretty big YouTuber that's going to be involved, and I'm excited because I've looked up to them for a really long time, and apparently they're going to play a villain in the story, and it's going to be great. Thanks, Candy. Carl, we're going to have our first date. Yeah, sure, I guess. I like Italian food. Preferably homemade pasta. Hi, Purple E. coli. Let's see. What else is going on? No, I didn't find out creepypasta.com was being sold. Okay, bye, Cries Gaming. Get some sleep. No, I can't tell you guys who's involved. I can't tell you yet. I want to. I really do. I really want to tell you guys really badly. I can't. Not yet. It's okay, scary reptilian people. Do you like boba tea? Boba tea? I don't think I've had that. Hey, Decoded Podcast. Or Keith, how are you doing? Hi, Senpai Mabel. Yes, I remember you from the last stream. There are a couple of other projects that I want to do. I'm actually in the process of hopefully getting the okay or the clearance, so to speak, to create a motion comic. And name is Joe. Aw, hi Joe. Don't be upset, I'm okay. No, MCP actually wants to work with me on a different story. I would love a caramel macchiato or like a mocha latte. That would be amazing. Guys, that last stream was awful. I was, you know. Candy's husband, Joe. Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I am gonna be working with MCP on something else. A lot of people have been wanting me to read like Pen Pal and Baraska, and that's such a huge undertaking that I feel like I need multiple people to help me with that. And so MCP agreed to help me with Baraska. Aw, thanks, Hopeful Generation. You guys are awesome, seriously. You mean the world to me. I feel so much better. Oh, yeah, for those of you who've been following me on Twitter, I'm a huge Persona nut. I've been a Shin Megami Tensei fan, and I've been waiting on Persona 5 for like 10 years. Yes, sex is wonderful. That was like the biggest quote from last time. I like chai, like the chai tea with milk. I like that a lot. It's MCP is Mr. Creepypasta Taco Cat. Let's see. Oh, thanks for Blissful Martini. Yeah, I'm a huge Persona nut. Like I said, Baraska's such a huge undertaking. I'm probably gonna be doing that with Maple. He's a Maple Creepypasta. He asked me to help him with that a while back, and I would like to. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so but yeah, I've been a Shin Megami Tensei for years. Like, I made it this unrealistic goal a long time ago, saying that I was going to own every single Shin Megami Tensei game that ever like existed, because I'm like obsessed with the franchise. I don't know, but I literally do own almost every single Shin Megami Tensei game that's ever been released in America. Like, it's really sad. I don't know who is... Hector, are you asking me that? Because I don't know. Yeah, Maple is really awesome. I love his work. And it was amazing too because a lot of his subs were the ones who kept telling him to contact me. And that's how we started talking. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Is Flying Snow is a lot of his subs told him about me, and he emailed me, and we've been in contact ever since. And we talked about getting to work on Baraska. We were actually going to start working on it in March, but it's just been so crazy. So I think we're probably going to put it off till April, like either the end of this month or the beginning of May. So yeah, no, Pit, I totally got you beat. I have Personas 1 through 5. I own all 3 versions of Persona, like the regular Persona that came out, Persona FES, and Persona 3 Portable. Like, I have them all, because that's, like, my favorite Persona game so far. I have, like, Persona Arena. I have, like, Dancing All Night. Like, it's ridiculous how many games I have for that franchise. Okay, Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming by. Please go go finish your work that you have to do. Oh, yeah. I listen to Midnight Marinara every once in a while. Well, let's see. I listen to Gorillaz. I do. My favorite album by the Gorillaz was probably the Feel Good Inc. album. Although I like the album that came out before that one too. That was cool. No, I haven't listened. I haven't even read the part 2 of Baraska yet. Like, I want to hold off on that as long as possible until I get through the first part. Like, the first arc of Baraska. Like, I don't even want to get into... I don't even want to get into that. It's okay, Hopeful Generation. Yeah, I don't even want to get into that until I can finish recording and working on the first series. That's, like, my priority right now. But yeah, no, it'll be cool. Anyway, so pretty much what's gonna be going down here is, I think, let's see. Well, I guess since, I mean, that's pretty much all the announcements I really have. There's this huge, there's this project that Chilling Tales for Dark Nights is doing called Camp Creepypasta, which is like, yeah, Purpley Coli. Like, there was the first series of, like, 1 through 4, and, of Baraska, and then CK Walker worked on the second part, which is the, like, it's Baraska part, it's, like, the second arc of Baraska, and, yeah, I'm just trying not to even get into that. Like, it's crazy. Did I ever finish the game? I did finish the game about the serial killer, but I need to finish editing it and putting it all together. Like I said, I think there's 3 more videos left I need to edit and post up for that. The next Dad's tape will be coming out. Well, I was planning on releasing it this week, but it probably won't be coming out till next week or over the weekend. The entire video is just CPD recording the tape. Like, it's just the father on the tape talking to the son. I'm not in it at all, so I'm just waiting on him to get me that audio so I can clean it up and post it for you guys. Yeah, I like the murder mystery vibe in Persona 4. Did I like part 4 of the Rake vs. Dogman? The Rake vs. Dogman part 4 took a lot out of me. There was a lot of yelling involved that I had to do. It was a very emotional role for my character. I had to do some crying. I had to do some, you know, screaming and... Oh my god, FGS helmet. What is going on? Eden, you are a goddess narrator and an amazing woman. I think I speak for everyone here when I say you have our hearts and we love you. Just keep being strong and know that it's enough for us that you share your amazing talents with us. Thank you, FGS helmet. I mean, it really... It means the world to me that I know, yes, face reveal will be at when I reach 100,000 subscribers. Although I really wish I could just do it now. Yeah, I know. Hey, Ghoulish. I really wish I could just do it early, but I made the promise a long time ago that I wouldn't do it until I hit 100,000 subs. So I plan on sticking to my guns and being honest with that when that you know, regarding that, I really want to maintain that. Hey, Gustavo Roman. Right now there are 12, thank you, Joe. Right now I think there are 12 tapes, plus there are 2 more. Yeah, Ghoulish. You already did your face reel. Doesn't matter. There are 12 tapes total. Aw, Ghoulish. Yeah, Ghoulish knows what I look like because we're friends on Facebook. It won't take forever, Austin. I promise. Like, already, I'm so behind, guys. Bye, Panda Overlord. I'm so behind, guys. I was supposed to do, like, a 24,000 sub video, a 25,000 sub video. I'm about to hit 26,000, and I still haven't done 26,000. I haven't done, like, 1,000 sub video for 3 videos now. I really need to go and, like, do that. I have a story that I wanna do. Hector Solis, am I a skinko? No, I'm not a skinko. I am a one girl, one significant other kind of person. If I'm with someone, and that's all I focus my attention on. No, don't do that, Sir Robert. I will get banned. My channel will die if you do that. They will find me and shut my channel down if that happens. Hey, Jackie Martin. It's okay. Yeah, it'll be good though. But I don't know, like, I'm excited and it's gonna be great. I really, honestly, a lot of people are just like, you should never show your face, but I really feel like I have to at some point because I want to be able to do meet and greets to, like, meet you guys. I want to be able to, you know, talk to people and sign autographs and stuff like that, you know, and just go to panels. I would love to collab with Cry. He's so good at, like, voice acting, although lately he's been kind of bored with the stuff that he's been doing, so I'm wondering if I might be able to, like, catch him on the quick one day and be like, hey, we should do a story together. You guys should blow up his Twitter and be like, Cry. Cryotic. Cry was taken. His Twitter name is @CryWasTaken. You guys should tweet at him and be like, Eden is an amazing voice actor and narrator. We would love if you guys did a collaboration together because she has looked up to you since, like, for the last... When did I start watching him? Like, 2008 is when I watched him. So, or 2007. Actually, no, I started watching him when I was in college. So that'd be about 2007 when I transferred from one school to another. So yeah, 2007 is when I started watching Cry. 2007, 2008. So I've been watching him since then. And I do like cats. My little cat's name is Aries. Like Aries, like A-R-E-S. My Princess Aries. She's so cute. Crystal salty milk chocolate with sea salt. How can I hold a pin if I'm a deer? That was like the best thing ever, was like wearing the deer mask. I can only do meet and greets if I come to Atlanta. That's not fair. Yeah, no, I would love to go to conventions and stuff and like meet people. That'd be awesome. That's my ultimate goal, at least anyway, is to like be able to do meet and greets and whatnot. Do a fingernail. I've actually done a hand reveal on my Twitter. You guys just didn't know. So. Okay, so anyway, that's pretty much all the announcements that I really have regarding what's going on with my channel. I have some stories. Or does anyone have any stories that they would like me to read? Don't say Baraska and don't say Pen Pal, because those are big projects that I plan on doing later on. But I have a few stories that I would like to read to you guys. Oh, that's such a cute name for your kitty, Jackie. There's a few stories that I want to read, but if anyone has any stories that they would like me to read, then I would you know, Austin, someone told me to read that last stream, and I still haven't read it yet, so I'm gonna go investigate and see what this is all about. Is it a long story? I kind of want to read a long story to you guys. On no sleep? It's also on the creepypasta wiki. Okay. I think we can do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. There should be a way for... I really do have to play with this some more, because there's apparently a way on like the OBS Studio thing where you can like transition images on here, which I think would be really cool if like I'm reading a story and I can like go through and like change the pictures out as I'm, you know, reading them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting a little hopeful. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess I can get a thing going. Let's see here. Ooh, so busy. Alright. Oh, I think I found the story. Oh, I've read the Russian sleep experiment on my channel. It's actually a really good video that I put together. Thanks, Ghoulish Gal. I just put on some random Ghibli music. It's actually from Studio Ghibli. It's the Ghibli Jazz Cafe music, relaxing jazz, bossa nova music. Really good. I like it. It's pretty addicting. I can fall asleep to it. Happy. Excuse me. Woo. Alrighty. Aw, bye, hopeful generation. Hey, PC Silver. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and post the link to the story in the chat so you guys can read along with me. And we'll go from there, okay? So here's the link to the story. So yeah, there's the link to the story, guys. If you'd like to read with me while I read aloud. Yeah, I can send a link to the music, guys. Here's the link to the music. Hi, Night Fox. That's a link to the playlist that's playing currently right now. Alright, Taco Cat. Be sure to listen to the stream after it's up and all that jazz, okay? Alright, I'm about to do this really mission thingy. So please. Alright, did everyone get the link in the... or get a link in the chat with the story? Please let me know. Okie dokie. Alright. Alright, see you later, Ghoulish. Go record. I understand. Hey, Marco. I'm being quoted left and right. Alright. Music is low. Okay. Boost it up then, I guess. Is that better? Can you guys hear that better? Dream health, don't die. Alright. Alright. Here we go. Hey, fuckface. Alright, we're gonna get started. About to get loud. Boost it back down again. Go. Alright, let's get started here. Okay. I slowly opened my eyes. My head was swimming and a dull pain surrounded my throat. I was thirsty. That was the first thing I noticed. I licked my dry lips as my surroundings faded into focus. My body ached and I realized it was because I was tightly bound to a metal chair in the middle of an empty room. The barren concrete walls were stained and dirty. The floor beneath my bare feet was cold and slightly wet. A single bulb lit the room, dangling from the ceiling by a string. It cast moving shadows and I blinked back darkness. An open door stood before me, but I couldn't see anything but the wall of a hall. I tried to clear my head, tried to remember how I got here. I squeezed my eyes shut and forced myself not to panic. I slowed my breathing and focused my thoughts, desperately trying to summon some recollection of why I was here. I couldn't remember anything. I opened my eyes and exhaled, my parched throat throbbing. I could hear sound echoing off the hallway walls outside the door. Clanging, screaming, howling, all very distant. That did nothing to help calm my nerves. "Hello?" I cried, the word tearing at my vocal cords. I felt my chest hitch in pain, but I cleared my throat and yelled again. "Is anyone there? Hello?" The dark hallway remained silent except for the constant echoes. I shut my mouth and tried to wriggle free of my bindings, but the rope was knotted impossibly tight. I fought back against my imagination as it flooded my mind with horrific scenarios of what awaited me. If only I could remember! Suddenly, footsteps erupted from outside the door, a rapid patter of small feet. My hopes rose and I trained my attention on the door, praying it was help. A young boy ran into the room dressed in a red onesie, complete with padded feet. Stretched over his face was a plastic devil mask. The eye holes revealed massive blue eyes that greeted me curiously. Taken back, I opened my mouth to speak, but that's when I noticed something was off. His eyes were huge, impossibly round and bulging from their sockets. It sent a shiver of unease down my spine, but I shook it off. This child might be able to free me. "Hey," I hissed urgently. "Hey kid, can you get me out of here?" The boy took a step closer, cocking his head but remaining silent. I rattled my bound arms against the chair. "Cut me free, please. I shouldn't be here. This is some kind of mistake." The boy eyed me behind his strange mask and stopped directly in front of me. He leaned in close and whispered, his voice like wet silk. "You did a bad thing." Confused, I shook my head. No, this is a mistake. I didn't do anything." The boy's enormous blue eyes suddenly filled with sadness. "Oh, you did a really, really bad thing." I shook my head again violently. "No, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Just please get me out of this chair." Suddenly, before either of us could speak again, a man came charging into the room. He was overweight and dressed in overalls, his grizzled face twisted in seething anger. He was holding a sawed-off shotgun in his arms. I didn't do anything! I cried as he advanced on us, my voice cracking. I'm not supposed to be here! The big man ignored me and instead grabbed the kid and shoved him hard against the wall. The boy grunted at his back, struck the concrete, and his eyes rose to meet the grizzled man's. Wordlessly, the man raised his shotgun, placed it against the boy's forehead, and blew his head off. Chunks of gore splattered the wall as shock slugged me in the stomach like an iron fist. My ears rang and time seemed to slow as I watched in horror as the headless body crumpled to the ground. My breath rushed back into my lungs and time seemed to readjust. Jesus fucking Christ! I screamed, straining against the ropes, my eyes bulging in horrific shock. What the fuck? The man ignored my screams as he bent down and picked up the boy. He slung the ruined corpse over his shoulder and walked out the doorway. Suddenly, the hallway erupted with malicious laughter, a chorus of voices all howling in glee. I shut my eyes, the noise deafening as absolute terror filled every. After a few moments, the laughter faded and I cautiously opened my eyes, unable to believe what I had just witnessed. Hello? I jumped as I realized there was another man standing before me. He was dressed in a simple, white button-down shirt and jeans. His brown hair was cut short, and he appeared to be in his early 30s. His green eyes were dull and lifeless, his full lips pulled down at the corners. What is going on? Where am I? I cried, new fear pooling in my stomach like hot blood. The man crossed his arms. So, you're the new one, huh? He shook his head. You people disgust me. Questions bubbled on my lips, but he waved them off with a sharp chop of his hand, slicing the air and demanding my silence. He ran his tongue over his teeth, sneering. You look like you've already seen some of the horrors this place holds, huh? Yes, I can tell by the look in your eyes. You're terrified. You've seen something, haven't you? It doesn't seem all that bad now, does it, looking back? You've been here 5 minutes and already you're shitting your pants. Where am I? I gasped, unable to hold back any longer. What do you people want? The man crossed his arms behind his back. I bet you want to get out of here, don't you? I bet you'd like to go back to your home, your family, everything. Please, I interrupted. Whatever I did to you, I'm sorry. I really am, but I don't remember. The man rolled his eyes. You didn't do anything to me. You did it to yourself. You really don't remember anything? Shook my head and felt tears brimming in my eyes, liquid fear. The man looked at me with contempt. You waited until your wife left for work, and then you went out to the woodshed and hung yourself. You're dead. The recent memory rose in my mind like a monster from fog. My eyes went wide. As much as I wanted to deny it, he was right. I had killed myself. The incident tore through my brain like a bullet train and left me reeling. I'm Danny, by the way, the man said, ignoring the shocked look on my face. And I'm number 2 here. I run the orientation process. I want to make this quick because I'm tired of repeating this fucking thing to you pathetic suicidals. You get one question before I begin. He stared down at me and I scrambled to organize my thoughts into something cohesive. This was all horrifying. Why had I killed myself? I fought against the fog and panic, and the mists of confusion slowly began to lift. I just lost my job. Yes, that start. I squeezed my eyes shut and forced more of the memory. I had lost my job and I was about to lose the house. My wife, Tess, she found out and was going to leave me. I didn't have any way out, didn't have any options. Getting fired had come out of the blue and I didn't have much in savings. I was broke, soon to be homeless, and my wife hated me for it. There was something else. Right. She had been cheating on me. I had seen texts on her phone while she slept one night and confirmed my life degraded to shit. I had run out of options. Humiliated and ashamed, decided death was my only option. Hey fucker, do you have a question or not? Danny said, snapping his fingers in front of my face. I was sucked back into reality, and I asked the only question that mattered. Is this hell? Danny snorted. That's always what you people ask. He began to pace back and forth in front of me. No, this is not hell. It's not heaven either. This is the Black Farm. And no, I didn't name it that. This is where God sends the souls who have ended their own life. Suicidals. See, he doesn't really know what to do with you, and neither does the devil. They're genuinely good people who kill themselves. Cruel to banish them to hell for all eternity for a moment of weakness, right? Personally, I think God and the devil were just tired of arguing about it, and so they send them here, the Black Farm. Did God create this place? I asked, growing more and more confused. Danny spit on the floor, chuckling. Sure, at some point, but he lost control of it when he put the pig in charge. What's the pig? I asked, unsure I wanted to know the answer. Danny held up a hand, annoyed. Can I fucking finish? God created this place eons ago, put the pig in charge, and then forgot about it for a while. Well, when his back was turned, the pig decided to use his new power to try and create his own little world. This mess you see around you is the fractured remains of that experiment. The Black Farm used to be a lot nicer, but the pig wanted things to be different. He wanted to create his own vision. These people you see, these monsters, they are the pig's attempts at creating functioning life. Instead of mirroring God's earth, these mutated, horrible creations are full of sin and hatred. They run rampant here, unabashed. This place is chaos. The Black Farm is a circus of freaks and monsters, and it's your eternity. Fear boiled in my gut like thick oil. No, this couldn't be my end. I didn't believe in stuff like this. This wasn't real. I would wake up soon and realize I was just having a nightmare. That had to be it. Danny stood before me and lightly slapped my face. Hey! Don't go into hysterics on me. I haven't finished yet. I raised my teary eyes to meet his. Danny smiled. You can always feed the pig. My breath pushed from my lungs like burning steam. What does that mean? Danny spread his hands, still smiling. It's as simple as that. Feed the pig. If you do so, there's a chance he'll send you back to your life. And what happens if it doesn't? I bumbled. You get sent to hell. So flip a coin if you have one. Stay here with us or feed the pig. If you choose to stay, I'll let you go. I'll let you go out there, he said, pointing towards the door. But let me assure you, what awaits you at the end of the hallway, well, let's just say hell isn't that much worse. I swallowed hard, trying my best to digest everything. Why wouldn't I try feeding the pig? Whatever that meant. If there was even a sliver of hope, I would take it. An eternity in this place, the Black Farm, be sent to hell, or feed the pig? I would do anything for a chance to go back. This nightmare made my problems seem nothing in comparison. Danny raised a hand before I could speak. I'll let you think on it a while. I'll be back later. I want to feed the pig, I cried, not wanting to spend another second in this awful room. I could hear a woman screaming down the hallway, her cries rising as something meaty pounded into her. My breath came in sharp pulls and my throat burned. Danny noticed the noise and grinned. Sounds pretty bad, huh? He said softly as the woman's voice creaked with agony. Something was still slamming into her, the sound of beaten flesh igniting my imagination with horrors. Please, I gasped, breathless. Just let me feed the pig. I don't want to stay here any longer. Danny turned away from me. I'll be back later. Enjoy your time alone. Really, think about your situation. Weigh your options and remember, you put yourself here. And with that, he was gone, leaving me in the dim room. Tears streamed down my face. The woman didn't stop screaming for hours. At some point, I fell into a semi-sleep. The darkness in the room seemed to press in on me, and my eyes fluttered shut. My body ached and my throat was a halo of fire. Thirst raked at my windpipe like sharp glass. My lips felt like crumpled paper. My head thundered like a drum. The room swam in and out of focus, and my mind drifted toward the horrific sounds that never ended. I was lost in a haze, unaware that something was sliding into the room until I felt a sharp prick on my big toe. I jolted out of my daze as my bare foot ignited with pain. I screamed and tried to move, but my bindings held me tight. The room rushed back into focus, and I blinked in agony as I felt blood trickle between my toes. I looked down for the source of pain, and I felt a scream claw up my throat. Staring up at me was an armless man. He slithered on the floor like a worm, his bald head scabbed and filthy. His legs were wrapped together in barbed wire, forcing him to wriggle his body to move. His eyes were lidless and wide, two bloodshot white orbs that stared up at me with hungry intensity. His teeth had been removed and replaced with long screws, which jutted from his bleeding gums like a broken rock formation. Around his neck, chain link, which I followed across the floor to the open door. The end of the leash was held by a tall, naked man. His body was hairless and flabby, covered in similar scabs like his pet. A dirty bag was pulled over his head that hid his features except for a single red eye that peeked out at me from a crude cut in the cloth. Stared at me and groped his engorged penis, his breath heavy and labored. As the armless man wriggled towards me again, his master started to masturbate. I screamed as the screw-filled mouth bit at me again, and my cries seemed to stimulate the naked man even more. Get off me! Stop it! I screamed, horrified. I tried to kick at the man, doing my best to avoid his sharp metal teeth. I brought my heel down on his head, and he screamed as his face bounced off the floor. A moan of pleasure escaped the bagman's mouth, and I turned away as a mist of black sprayed out onto the floor. There was a rattle of chains, and I turned back to see the two of them leaving, the armless man dragged by his neck out of the door. I looked at where the bagged man had ejaculated and saw a puddle of dead ants. I vomited onto myself thick, chunky curtains of bile and... Get me out of here! I screamed, strands of puke running down my chin. I don't belong here! I listened to the two men retreat down the hallway, the clank of chains accompanied by the sound of flesh being dragged across the concrete. I screamed again, but I knew no one was going to help me. I spit a wad of phlegm and bile onto the floor, ridding my mouth of its sourness. I forced myself to calm down. It wasn't easy. After some time, I heard someone else approaching. I had been in a miserable lull, my mind a blank canvas of dark despair. The noise roused me from my trance-like state. The muscles in my arms burned from being restrained for so long, and I shifted them desperately, trying my best to prepare myself for whatever horror was about to walk through the door. Footsteps drew closer, and then a woman walked into the room. She stopped at the doorway and looked at me. One of her eyes was missing, a dark, cavernous hole in her skull. Her hair was ratty and white, a brown tangle like a forgotten nest. Her skin was pale and filthy. She was dressed in rags. I couldn't tell how old she was. There was a maturity in her one good eye. "Still thinking?" she asked, her voice coarse and brittle. "What?" She took a step closer. "Are you still deciding whether you're going to feed the pig or not?" I looked at her cautiously. "Yeah, I am. Who are you? What do you want?" "I was once where you are now, trying to decide my fate. I couldn't believe that this was what happened. What happened after we die. It wasn't what I thought, what I was taught. Religion didn't warn me about this place." I tested my by-knees again before asking, "You killed yourself too? You're a person like me? You're not one of those creations?" She snorted. "Breaks my heart you have to ask, though." She touched the hole where her eye should have been. "Though I can understand your caution. Yeah, I'm a suicidal. I've been here a long time. But that was my choice. I decided to chance it here." I motioned with my head towards the doors. "What's out there? What is all this?" She exhaled heavily and leaned against the wall. "I can't even begin to describe this place. It's like nothing you've ever seen. You walk down that hallway and go out into it, and you'd have to see it to understand." "How bad is it? Why are all these mutated people hurting and killing each other?" I asked. She let her head loll back against the wall. "It would take years for you to fully understand this place. Years you don't have. Right now, you have to make a decision. Stay or feed the pig. They tell me hell is worse than here, but it can't be by much. Monsters and suicidals roam the Black Farm, killing, raping, brutalizing. And then you wake up and wonder how long you can survive before something else kills you. It's an endless cycle." "So what did you stay? Why did you stay?" I pressed. "Why didn't you feed the pig? I don't even know what that means, but I would do anything for a chance to go back. I can't stay here. I can't." She smiled sadly at me. "Why? Why did I choose this? It's simple, really. I'm a coward. I was a coward when I was alive, and I'm a coward in death. When it came down to it, when the moment presented itself, I chose to stay here. I didn't know what awaited me outside. It boiled down to a simple choice fueled by my own fear." "What is the pig? What does it do to you?" I pressed. She suddenly turned to go. "I'm afraid that's for you to find out. But let me warn you. Think hard before you make a decision. Sometimes suffering through your fear is better than suffering for eternity. Be brave." "What do I do?" I yelled, shaking in my chair as she walked out the door. She paused and took one last look over her shoulder. Her eyes darted around and she dropped her voice to a whisper. "Feed the pig." And with that, she was gone. I sat in silence once again. My mind was spinning, desperately turning over my options. I still couldn't fully understand the situation I was in. It was too much, too overwhelming. The other side of death wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't know what I had expected, but it wasn't this nightmare. Questions crashed over my mind like cold waves onto a sinking ship. How was I supposed to make a choice when I didn't even know what my actions entailed? This place, the Black Farm. I couldn't stay here. But what if I went to hell? What if I didn't get sent back? I would be out of the fire and into the frying pan. My existence would forever be damned to an unending misery. Here, though, there were people like me. Suicidals. It wasn't all monsters and mutilated murderers. Maybe I could hole up somewhere with them. Try to scrape together a passable existence. Surely that would be better than getting sent to hell. No, this wasn't going to be how I spent my eternity. I refused to let it be. If there was even the slightest sliver of hope, I would take it. I didn't want to wonder what could have been. I didn't want to be tormented by doubt. I would feed the pig and accept whatever fate chose for me. And I boiled it down. It's the only option left. I would feed the pig. Hey! Hello? Danny! I yelled, rattling in my chair. I've made my decision! Danny! Danny walked through the doorway, an annoyed look on his face. I've made my choice, I said. I'm going to feed the pig. Sounds like you've really thought a lot about it since I left you, Danny said sarcastically. I licked my lips. You'd do the same thing if you were in my place. Danny walked behind me. I was in your place once, and I chose differently. My eyes widened, and then Danny wrapped my entire head with a strip of thin cloth, binding me. I sucked in as much air as I could, but each lungful felt empty. I felt Danny cut me free from the chair, and my body sighed as my stiff muscles were released. I rolled my shoulders as my hands were released, and I moaned with relief. I dug my fingers into my back, and I stretched, my bones creaking. Keep your blindfold on and follow me, Danny said, pulling me up. My legs shook as I put weight on them, my thighs trembling after their long, cemented position. I groped blindly in front of me and found Danny's shoulder. I rested my hand on it as he walked us out of the room. As we entered the hallway, I could suddenly hear sound I hadn't before. The clank of metal, a long, fleshy tearing noise, something vomiting. These sounds sprang to life in my ears, painting the darkness before my eyes with imaginary scenes of horror. I gripped Danny's shoulder tighter, stumbling behind him, my heart thundering. I heard something trailing behind us, but Danny didn't seem to notice, or if he did, he didn't care. Flesh slapped the concrete mere inches behind me, and I suddenly felt hot breath on my neck, the click of a wet tongue against gums. My breathing became even more labored as fear choked me. Going to feed the piggy, are ya? Something whispered in my ear. I felt something press against the back of my head, and I tried not to think about what it might be. It was wet and slimy, and I heard the thing chuckle. He's a hungry piggy. You make sure he gets his meal. The thing whispered again, its voice low and unlike anything I had ever heard. It was like a series of grunts and moans jumbled together to form broken words. To my relief, I heard the thing retreat back to wherever it had come from, and I continued to follow Danny. He remained silent as we walked, and I could feel shifts in the air. The thick heat gave way to a cooler, almost pleasant temperature. But then it kept decreasing, and soon I was shivering violently against the cold. I couldn't see anything, but I felt a breeze on my face like we were outside. I didn't hear Danny open any doors. But nothing about this place was natural. It was like reality blurred and bled into itself like reels of film melting together. Teeth chattering, I was suddenly blasted with intense heat, and I gasped. My feet tripped over themselves as the terrain changed, and I was suddenly walking on what felt like warm iron. My ears were filled with the sound of blazing furnaces and the clash of working machinery. I couldn't see it, but I felt like there was a vast open expanse overhead. I smelled ash and tasted dirt on my tongue, sweat already forming along my spine. Suddenly, I crashed into Danny as he came to a halt. I backed up a few paces quickly and muttered my apologies. I could hear movement in front of us, a rustle of chains and an odd clicking sound on the metal floor. Something else too. Something snorting. And then the room filled with a deafening sound of an immense pig squealing. I covered my ears, head splitting at the high-pitched wail. I grit my teeth as the noise echoed off the metal and faded into a series of snorts and grunts. It sounded absolutely enormous. "I brought another one," Danny announced, a slight tinge of respect lining his voice. "He wants to feed the pig." I waited, expecting to hear some answer, the cloth around my eyes sealing my sight to darkness. I realized my knees were shaking and my back was coated in sweat. I was terrified. "If that is what you wish," Danny said, and I felt him bow under my hand. Apparently some unseen conversation had just happened, and Danny took my wrist and pushed me forward. "Approach the pig," he instructed. My whole body trembled and my knees locked into place. Robbed from sight, I raised my hands to get my bearings, the heat and ash filling my head with nausea. I felt like I was going to throw up, my stomach rolling like a dead sea. I didn't know where I was or what horror lay before me. I felt lost and tiny, a fresh splash of tears dripping from my eyes and soaking into the cloth around my face. "Please," I begged, "let me see what's happening." Danny was suddenly behind me, pushing me forward. He guided my hands towards something as we stepped together in unison. Even with the cloth around my face, I could see a giant mass of towering darkness before me. It was a spot of black on an already darkened canvas. As we walked forward, I was suddenly assaulted by a horrendous smell, and I gagged, turning away. Danny's grip tightened and forced me to continue. I could sense something just in front of me, a living, shifting mass of flesh. The smell increased to a wretched level, and I gagged again. Then, hot air was being blown on my face. A blast of heat that came in repeated short bursts. I vomited into my cloth, the source of the smell stemming from the hot air. I choked as the bile gushed over the fabric, soaking it and momentarily cutting off my oxygen. Danny slapped my hands away, and I took a few seconds to steady my breathing again. I was open and crying now, fear and misery collapsing my willpower. The wet cloth stunk as I sucked in soggy brains. My own stomach acid coated my skin, and I begged for all of this to be over. Then, something squealed directly in front of me. I felt my bladder go. I was standing before the pig. It was the source of darkness in my obscured vision, a fat, titanic creature that filled my senses with every breath it blew into my face. Danny raised my hands, and suddenly I was touching the pig's snout. I recoiled immediately, but Danny forced my hands back. Its fur was stiff and brittle, and as my shaking hands explored up its nose, the size of the animal became clear to me. It was gigantic and had weight over a ton. Its flesh wiggled under my sweating hands, and it opened its mouth slightly. My fingers curled around teeth the size of kitchen knives, and I realized its mouth was absolutely cavernous. The pig squealed again, and I heard its hooves clack against the ground. It sounded like thunder rolling across an open field in the middle of summer. "Take this blindfold off, please," I begged, my legs turning to jelly. Danny had taken a few steps back, and I heard reverence in his voice. "You don't want to do that." I jumped as the pig nudged me with its nose, the wet circle of flesh squishing against the length of my face. I shuddered away, raising my hands and emitting a cry of fear. Feed the pig, Danny instructed, his voice like cold steel now. You made your choice. Now live with it. It's the only chance you have of going back. Or maybe the pig won't like how you taste and send you to hell. Only one way to find out. My eyes widened behind the vomit-soaked cloth. Won't like how I taste? Climb into its mouth. My bladder let go again and I felt warm piss run down my leg. No, you can't mean... Danny's voice hardened. Climb into its mouth and don't stop crawling forward until it's done with you. Please, I begged, turning towards Danny's voice, reaching out blindly. Please, there has to be some other way. Don't make me do this. I was a mess of snot and tears, my words bumbling from my mouth like a toddler. Danny stepped forward and spun me back to face the pig. Do it! You made your choice. It will all be over soon. This is your only chance. I could feel the pig breathing onto my face, its snout mere inches from mine. The smell and heat it emitted made me want to vomit again, but I held it back. This was insane. This wasn't happening. My mind spun and twisted in chaos and fear. There had to be some other way. I couldn't do this. I could not do this. Suddenly, I remembered the words of the woman. Sometimes suffering through your fear is better than suffering for you. Be brave. This was my only chance to get back to the world of the living. I had made such a terrible mistake in killing myself. If I could go back and change my life, I wouldn't have to spend eternity here. I could change my ways, ensure a spot somewhere else, somewhere away from the pig. But what if it decided to send me to hell? How much more suffering could I endure? I had to take the chance. Please. God. I whispered, taking a step forward. You can hear me. Please have mercy on me. My shaking hands reached out for the pig and I grasped its thick fur. I felt it slowly lower its head and open its mouth. It was waiting for me. Its thick, hot breath stinking in my nostrils. This was it. No turning back now. I slowly gripped its teeth and pulled myself forward in its jaws. Its head was at a downward angle, and so I immediately fell onto my stomach at a 45-degree angle. Its wet tongue squished under me, and I was shaking so hard I could barely breathe. Tears soaked my blindfold, and my heart crunched against my ribs. I slowly reached forward, and I found another tooth to grab onto. Gritting my teeth, I pulled my body inward past my knees. The pig raised its head, and I was suddenly completely horizontal on its tongue. Saliva and mucus dripped around me, and the heat was so intense I almost blacked out. My knees clacked against its front teeth as I pulled myself even deeper. Its inner cheeks pressed in around me, squeezing my body like a soaking, fleshy coffin. Crying, terrified, I reached ahead of me and found more teeth. I pulled myself deeper into its mouth, and I felt my feet slide past its lips. My whole body was coated in slime, and I openly wept, grasping in the darkness for another tooth. And that's when the pig started to chew on me. I screamed in crushing agony as my body was compressed between its massive teeth. I heard my legs snap instantly and felt wet bone pop from my skin. I shook violently as my body spasmed in shock, a mangled twist of blood and pain. Its tongue shifted me in its mouth, and I felt it bite down on my shoulder. My eyes bulged in their sockets as I howled, a hot pillar crunching down on my collarbone. I threw up violently, unable to control myself, the pain overwhelming. Keep crawling. Screaming, bloodshot eyes rolling wildly, I reached forward with my good arm, wetly searching for another tooth. I gripped my teeth, blood squirting between them as my fingers wrapped around something solid. The pig bit down again, its tongue twisting my body so its molars could snap down on my knees. The pain brought darkness, but my howling screams forced my eyes to remain open. Jesus, make it stop! I bellowed, my trembling hand still gripping the tooth ahead of me. Please, make it fucking stop! I ground my teeth together so hard they cracked, screaming as I slowly pulled my body deeper into the mouth. Something was changing. Tight walls of its throat squeezed my head, and I realized I was almost through. Come on, you motherfucker, come on! I begged, vocal cords cracking. I reached ahead of me and grabbed onto a thick wad of flesh. My head felt like it was splitting, and the pig bit down on me again. I gasped, blood exploding from my mouth in a great gush of red. It had pierced through my stomach, obliterating my insides like bloated noodles. Darkness rushed in on me, and I was in too much shock to even scream. With the last of my strength, right as the blackness took me, I pulled myself forward one last time. Felt myself slide down his throat. Darkness. Falling, screaming. I was screaming. Heat. Heat so intense I thought I would melt. Changing. Something was hammering on a metal. Colors and images flew past me so quickly I could only make out their shape. Blood poured into my eyes. Felt like I would keep falling forever. Suddenly, my eyes snapped open and I was falling. My breath rushing back into my lungs in a great wave of purity. My face bounced off wood floor, and I cried out as I felt my nose break. I tasted blood and saw stars. I had stopped falling. There was a ring of burning fire around my throat, and I felt impossibly thirsty. I was lying on the floor. I slowly opened my eyes again, and the darkness began to fade. Morning mist under a hot sun. Colors blended together and shapes came into focus. I was in my woodshed. I reached up around my throat and grasped at the source of heat. It was the rope I had hung myself with. But now it was severed, releasing me from the grip of death. Relief rolled over me in overwhelming weight. Thanks. I curled up on the floor and sobbed, tears dripping from my eyes onto the dirty floor. My body shook, unbroken, as I wept, wet, hoarse cries rising from my quivering. I had been spared. I was alive again. From my spot on the floor, I turned my eyes upward. It's cracked. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Oh, thank you. Fell into another fit of uncontrollable sobbing. I promise I won't waste my life again. I promise I'll make things right. I'll fix everything. I don't know how long it was before I got up. Time seemed to stretch for eternity. My mind refused to rebuild the horrors of what I had just witnessed crushing me. But I knew I would do everything I could to make the most out of my life. I was going to live every day the fullest. I would devote myself to helping others in dark times. I would reach out to as many suicidals as I could and try to save them from awaiting what was on the other side. I didn't want anyone else to have to witness the horrors of suicide. I didn't want anyone else to have to feed the pig. That's it, guys. That was a really good story. Holy shit. I don't know what to think about that. That's really cool. I think I want to read it for my channel now. I don't know. You know, it's kind of funny. I had a bacon, like, egg and cheese biscuit this morning, and now I kind of regret it. Yay, awesome. Hey, Rainer Lewington, how are you doing? He's a really good writer, guys. You should check out his stuff. Thanks. Alright, so that was Feed the Pig, guys. That was really, really good. Like, I wasn't expecting the story to end like that. So yeah, I don't know. Like, really badass. But I'm excited. I'm really fucking excited. Gosh, it's been so long since I've, like, read just to you guys. Like, it's just been one-on-one, like, me and you guys. So, I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit overly excited than I should be. Not to say that I don't like guests, you know? I do. I like having people on the channel. It's just that it's nice to just kind of be one-on-one, you know, with you guys. It's a little bit more meaningful. So yeah. I'll just keep the eerie music going, I guess. You guys can listen to it. While I figure out what next story I'm going to. That was really intense, though. It got pretty heavy at some points. No, it's not weird that you had a triple bacon burger at Applebee's. Like I said, I had a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit this morning, and I kind of feel a little bad about eating it, but not really. It was really fucking good. So. I know, right? God, I was so pissed at him for doing that to me. Although you guys were the ones who asked for it, so shame on all of you. Okay, thanks, Hopeful Generation. Have a good day at work. I really appreciate the support. All of you guys, it means so much to me. Yes, Rainer, please send me a story. No, Mr. Renegade. The sneak? Element, why am I a dummy head? I've thought about doing a podcast, but, like, I don't know how successful I'd be. Thanks, Silver Studio. I'm sorry. I was kind of emotional at the beginning. I don't know what was wrong with... I mean, I know what was wrong with me. It's just been a really taxing couple of weeks. Yeah, I like the story a lot, too. I might actually have to do an official narration of the story and put it... Sneak, huh? Okay. Let me look that up. Got a pretty good rating. Looks interesting. There's 2 parts to this? Or is it just a really long story? Like, because I see on the video, someone says it's like, there's a part 1 and a part 2? Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So the one on the Creepypasta Wiki was part 1. Okay. I can do this one. Yeah. This is pleasant. Swagger Bomb, I actually did read Psychosis, and I've recorded it already. I just haven't edited it and put it together. I have a whole list of backstories that I've like read or recorded already. I just so busy that I haven't really had time to like go through and, you know, do what I need to do to like put it all together. It's just big one giant mess of craziness. Yeah, no, I like this. I'm gonna, okay, so Rainer sent me stories. Of course, he always sends me stuff that he wants me to read. And I love reading his stuff. It's really good. So I'm gonna read one of his stories, and then I'm going to read the sneak, because I'm really interested to see like what the story's about. It's got a pretty high rating on creepypasta.com, and it's a pretty long story, and several people have narrated it already. And I like reading new stories on here for like the stream, like stories I haven't recorded already. I like to read those for you guys, and then if people like respond to it really well, then I'll go back and actually do an official recording of it and then post it as an official video on the channel for you guys to enjoy. So yeah. Psychosis is kind of long. It goes through the days, but I want to hold off on reading Psychosis on the channel because I actually did an official recording of it with like sound effects and everything. I just have to like edit the video and put it all together. Not a problem. All right. Okay. Hey, this was the one that I was talking about the other day. Okay. All right, so let's see what this is all about. The first story I'm going to read, or the next one I'm going to read, is called Born to Die by Rainer Lewington. I'll post a link in the chat. You guys can read along while I read out loud. Oh my god, slack off. I saw the movie Get Out. That movie was freaking crazy. Like, it was so good. There was so many like little hidden messages in there and little gems. Fucking, I couldn't believe, like, you know, Jordan Peele like did that movie. That was like his debut film, because I'm so used to him like doing comedic stuff with like Keenan and Peele. So when I saw Jordan did that, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be great. And it was like such a throwback to like the old 80s and 90s movies, with the text and opening and stuff. And did you guys know, fun fact, that if you haven't seen the movie, definitely recommend you should go see it. But the opening shot in that movie, like where it's in the neighborhood, that was all done in one shot. Like that was a one take like shot, and it was so fucking good. Like, as a film person, I really genuinely appreciate those kind of things. So but yeah, no, it was fucking great. I loved it. let's see. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm not cutting in and out. It's probably because I'm like not talking into the microphone. I'm trying not to like increase the gain on my mic because I don't want to blow your guys' ears out, you know what I mean? But yeah, so let's see here. I find stuff in. Okay, there we go. Start with this one. Alright, so there's a link to the story. And yeah, shit was crazy. That movie was crazy. Yeah, so there's a link to this story. It's called Born to Die by Rainer Lewington. I need to increase the size of it. Alright. Just trying to get some things situated here. Sorry about that. Alright, see you later, fuckface. You can email it to me, Maze. Alright. Yeah, I think I can add VSTs to it now. Right now I have a noise gate on it, or not like a noise gate, because I don't want you guys to get a lot of background like feed into it. So that might be why I'm kind of like cutting in and out. And plus I'm not like all in the microphone. I mean, I am now. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me now because I'm like right up on my microphone. But yeah, so anyway, so I think it should be okay as long as I kind of stay within this range of like my pop filter. So we'll go ahead and start reading. I don't want to keep you guys. I know you guys really want to hear the story, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into this, okay? You're fine, Kuda. Hey, Peter. Everything's better now. Alright. I'll post the story link one more time so you guys can follow along with me as I read aloud. Okay? Alright. See you later, Pitt. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I will. Yeah, I think it's because I just quit talking Swedish marksman. I'm sorry. Okay. Burn. That's all I want to feel and hear. After what that after what that hellhole did to me, I never want to feel a good thing in my life again. Because I know that anything that is good in life is only a false promise to cover up something bad that is about to come careening straight at your face like a runaway train. I've had my fair share of hardships, but nothing could ever compare to what I have endured over the last several months. I've done some horrific things to survive, and I never thought I'd want them to surface. But this is the only thing I can think to do while this fire burns the rubble and wreckage that once stood as a barbaric cage. I was a patient at the Greenwood Mental Asylum, and I was there for only a few months before this new doctor arrived. I say the word doctor loosely because this man was more of a psychopathic monster than a doctor. I was being treated for severe bipolar disorder inside the facility by the main medical professional, Dr. Caston. For the first 2 months, things operated in a regular pattern. I would wake up to a schedule laid out by Dr. Caston and enforced by his nurses. It was a decent system and one that slowly helped me to recover. That was until the day that Dr. Murdoch arrived. I don't feel comfortable calling Dr. Murdoch a doctor because the first thing you do once you earn the title of a medical doctor is you take an oath to perform out of the benefit of healing others. There was not a healing bone in that man's body if you could even consider him human enough to be called a man. The way he operated within that facility could only be described as the desire of a sadist to test what was the most painful and agonizing way to die. He would always preach how humans decide for themselves whether or not they want freedom or whether or not they will give it up. That statement in and of itself would imply some form of torture or gruesome punishment for anyone who disobeyed him. After a few days of him being around, Caston grew tired of his methods and wanted him to leave the facility, but when he went to go and speak with Murdoch, he was never found again. I remember searching throughout the entire facility for him, but I could never find him. This was at the time that Murdoch began laying out his plans to turn the facility that I once called a safe haven for people like me to heal into his own free-for-all bloody battle playground. He turned patients and nurses on each other, forcing each other to fight for basic things like food, medication, and the freedom to sleep without the risk of someone looming over you, ready to kill you in your sleep. Those first few days marked the transition in practice, from Caston's slow-healing environment to Murdoch's machine of death. The facility was equipped with all of the means to survive on its own. It had its own garden, its own water filtering and recycling systems, and a furnace to burn any trash or clothing that had become contaminated with diseases that could infect other patients. Murdoch knew where everything was and took advantage of those resources. He restricted everyone's food supply and only fed those who took advantage of their free nature. Many patients died off within the first week. The bodies that could have been burned, but they weren't. Murdoch wasn't merciful enough to at least dispose of the desecrated and deceased. No, he began ordering the patients to use the bodies as they saw fit. Some of the patients, out of delirium, began to use parts of the bodies like arms or the blood as tools to create artworks or sculptures. Others gave in to the madness and began to give in to dark desires like necrophilia and cannibalism, all out of the freedom that Murdoch allowed them. And those who refused to participate in his vile idea of freedom were liberated of their freedom by the nurses who still obeyed Murdoch and removed the arms and legs of the patients who refused to participate. Their wounds would be cleaned and they would be taken to what was referred to as the freedomless room, where they had metal bolts implanted in the joint gaps where their limbs used to be and would dangle by iron chains above the floor, staring at a television that only displayed static. To say that those who died within the first week received a form of mercy would be an understatement. That was until a young boy by the name of Michael Farrell arrived. As time passed on, all that I longed for was death. I longed for something, anything that would bring me freedom from this place, but it never seemed to arrive. That was until a young boy by the name of Michael Farrell arrived at the facility to try and take up a position as an intern. No other person had been to the facility aside from Dr. Murdoch in nearly 2 months. Meanwhile, everything that had been divulging into chaos. When I first saw Dr. Murdoch bring him into the asylum on what he referred to as a tour, I felt the first ounce of empathy I felt for a human being in months. An innocent young boy had been brought into this hellhole, and I would likely die if he didn't agree with Murdoch. I made sure to stay out of their way, but I never let them get out of my sight. I hated participating in the sculpture making that Murdoch offered, but it was better than being killed or losing all of my limbs and what was left of my sanity. Doing what I did keep me alive. Long enough, at least, to watch him bring in my last chance for hope. I hoped that there was someone, anyone, who would come to the asylum and free me, and Michael was my only hope of that ever happening. I followed him around the entire day, doing my best to try and separate them without getting caught, but I had no success. In the process of following the two of them, I was almost caught by the specialty nurse and nearly got sent to the chamber where they hosted what was called the Wheel of Death. I escaped into another room and hid underneath one of the beds as they passed by down one of the hallways and took another patient who was trying to escape. After making sure they were gone, I made my way back to the Freedomless room to watch Michael's reaction to Murdoch's barbaric means of eliminating those who he deemed too high risk. I had hope in my heart that this one boy would be able to withstand Murdoch's horrors and would escape. He was my only one chance at freedom, and from what I had seen before, he seemed like the only person capable of withstanding and escaping Murdoch's clutches. Murdoch asked him if he would stay or if he wanted to leave. I had done my best to make sure I was near enough to Michael to help him if he needed someone, anyone to help him fight against Murdoch. I was ready to fight and gain my freedom once and for all from Murdoch, but something inside of Michael had changed. His nervous breathing and horrified demeanor had vanished. It was almost like I was staring at a completely different person. Michael not only agreed, but laughed as he told Murdoch how relieved he felt after coming and visiting the asylum, and how he never wanted to leave. For the first time in months, I felt truly angry. I didn't feel the anger that came from my violent mood swings. No, this was a pure and righteous fury. I tried to strangle Michael, but I had been so engulfed in what had just unfolded before me that I never noticed two of the specialty nurses had been waiting behind me. I was quickly taken out of the room and passed out when I was injected with a tranquilizer. I awoke in a state of delirium and blurred senses. I had a light dangling over me in a large, empty room. Just beyond the light, I could see the shadow of a figure. Just by the shape of the shadows around this person, I knew exactly who it was. Dr. Murdoch. He had come by to gloat over my failed attempt to escape and planned on punishing me. He started the conversation off by laughing at me and then slapping me across the face. You never learn, do you, Jake? You couldn't just accept the freedoms I gave you, could you? Your idea of freedom and mine are very different, Murdoch. I could never stomach your fucking cruelty. He slapped me again, then revealed a pair of pliers. Oh, I know. I will make you see my way someday. He wasted no time in shoving the pliers into my left eye socket and removing my left eyeball. My screams and cries were all trapped within the room. No one could hear my suffering, and no one would care. As much as the pain felt unbearable in that moment, what Murdoch said next truly made the blood pouring out of my face boil. I have to leave soon, but I believe Mr. Farrell, or should I say Dr. Farrell, will do a good job in my place with this old place. I wanted to do something, anything to rip this man apart. But of course I was restrained to the chair I was in. I couldn't hold any of it back anymore. I began to laugh, slowly breaking down as I realized what was happening. Murdoch had completed his little sadistic playground experiment here and was off to do something else. What's so much more important than the asylum, Murdoch? You got some kind of endgame? He turned around and smirked at me before leaving me with a statement that inspired both rage and fear inside of me. Oh, but why would I end the game when my master is just getting started? We've only moved one space. There's still several other spaces to move before the king falls. Enjoy your life, Jake, or what will be left of it once Dr. Farrell decides what he's going to do with you. I tugged at my restraints for what felt like hours, doing whatever I could to try and break free, but there was no hope of release. One of the nurses came and released me from the room. I made sure to go and stay in my room. The nurses would continue to bring me food and water, but I began to grow more and more restless as I waited for Michael to come and see me. After 3 nights passed, Michael finally arrived in my room to address me. So, Jake Diesler, it appears that you have been moving backward in your recovery. It appears that I will be having to take some extra measure in ensuring you recover. He left the room and 2 of the nurses came in and strapped me to a wheelchair. I was wheeled down the hallway and into a room that was designed for medical diagnostics and testing. What are you going to do to me, Michael? You've been selected in a new program designed to eliminate an advanced case of malaria. You'll be one of the first to both be injected and receive the test antibodies. Everything is in order and we begin the testing now. Before I could even verbally protest, one of the nurses had already injected me with a vial full of the antibodies, and then another one injected another tube of fluid into me, likely full of malaria. They left the room and stood inside of another room behind a one-sided window. Couldn't stand them staring at me while I couldn't see them. Couldn't stand them being able to watch me like a caged animal. I began to freak out, trying to toss and turn, hoping to escape my restraints and get some help, but as before, it was of no use. I remained there as Michael's concoction made its way through my system. I slowed down my breathing, thinking that this was just his way of slowly trying to kill me. I ended up falling asleep and waking up to Michael and his nurses coming in to check on me. The test is complete. Subject number 12 shows no signs of the virus in his system. The test was a success. Congratulations, Jake. It looks like you'll stay amongst the living for a little while longer. I felt in that moment an overwhelming sense of relief and sadness, knowing that I had stayed alive only to be tortured further. I was sent back to my room promptly after Michael had concluded what he wanted from his little test. He was intelligent, but horribly misguided. He was playing a game no man should ever play, and the scary part was he was winning. That was until one of the nurses screwed up and one of the patients threw a vial of it into the Freedom Room, the place where everyone cut and butchered each other for entertainment. The virus spread in a matter of hours and every patient had been infected. Michael made sure to inject himself with enough antibodies and decided it was best to abandon the asylum. He went down to the asylum basement and set the furnace to heat up to max. He tossed in enough bodies into the furnace for it to burn for a week and made a hasty escape out of the facility. I tried to leave, but he was quicker than everyone else to leave and had locked up the gate and all exit doors. I wasn't about to give up on my life, though. I made my way into the asylum and looked for some tools, any tools that would help me to break through the fence of doors that kept me caged inside. Everyone else was doomed to die, but I still had a chance to escape. I found an axe and began to chop away at the front door. I continued to chop and chop until the door gave way. And when I got outside, there was no cars, no means of leaving the premises other than on foot. I made my way out to the parking lot, hoping to find some signs as to where Michael could have gone. All I found was a single note that Murdoch gave him. What was written on the sheet of paper drove me to start writing down my experiences at the asylum. This asylum was no mistake and was part of a much bigger project. Michael, I have to leave, but I promise it is for a good reason. I am entrusting my great project to you and encourage you to perform experiments of your own. I know that I can trust you to create our master's weapon and will make sure that his dream comes to fruition. We will not be able to conquer our fears until we have disposed of all those who could threaten it. Continue your work on Project Volvox and make sure that it sees its fruition. My informants in Russia believe they have found the perfect specimen for you to try your experiments out on, and I have an ally in the American military who would be willing to help. His name is Dr. Sennard, and he owes me a favor from another life. He will guide you and teach you his methods of manipulating and controlling plagues and death. Go to him and learn how to master your craft. I leave this to you now to bring about the death of humanity. Once all opposition is gone, we will be free of all worries and will be able to serve at the foot of our mighty master Gidnash and the almighty creator. Once you have completed phase 1, burn the facility to the ground and head to the location I have written on this note. We are counting on you to release Volvox. Too many have died and failed before. Do not disappoint us. Murdoch. After reading that note, I knew that I had to do whatever it took to make sure that not only Murdoch, but Michael pay as well as for what they've done. I only want to feel things burn. I want this facility to burn. I want all of the people inside of it to burn. But most of all, I want both of these monsters to burn for what they've done and for what they plan to do to the entire world. I feel that, as horrible and evil as Murdoch is, something he said before truly rings true in this moment. We were all born to crave freedom. We were all born to demand destruction. And we were all born to die. I'm coming for you, Michael. And I'm going to make sure that you fail in releasing Volvox. The end. I feel like this is a continuation story. Like there's a part 1 and part 2 kind of thing. But yeah, no. It seems cool. So yeah, that was Born to Die. Pretty good. It got really intense at some point. The beginning was kind of sad though. Like I felt kind of bad for the narrator or the voice in the story. I'm the narrator, obviously. But the voice in the story I felt kind of bad for. Gustavo. My gender is a computer chip. That's funny. Okay, guys. Well, all right. So I'm gonna read one more story, and I'm gonna read the sneak because I'm really interested to see what the story is about. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Austin, what is THICC? Oh, where's my shoe? There it is. Yeah, so I'm gonna read the sneak. This will be the last story that I read for the evening, guys. And it looks really interesting. So thank you, Hector, for recommending it. There's the link to the story. Oh, water. Second, guys. Have I ever watched Miss Kobayashi's Dragon? I don't think I have. Large thighs and butt? I mean, I'm not like a skinny mini if that's what you're asking. I'm not, okay, so I'm not like a size 0. Like, I'm not a skinny rail, you know? But I'm not like fat. I have boobs and an ass, if that means anything. So yeah, I guess I'm a curvy girl, if that means anything. Like, I'm not chubby, like I'm not fat or overweight, you know? I'm very proportionate, I guess. I have curves. I guess that means that is. All right, Rainer, thank you for stopping by. All right, well, go have fun, talk to him. That's on. Your cat is rubbing against your Pokemon cards. If you're talking about the anime film Princess Mononoke, that's my favorite Hayao Miyazaki film. Like, it's my favorite film. It's awesome. Aw. Poor Rudski, I'm sorry you're in pain. Yeah, so, hey, Vidith! Oh my goodness, I didn't know you were in here. Yeah, so, like I said, I'm not fat, but I'm not rail thin, you know? Like, I'm not flat-chested and flat-assed, if that means anything. Like, I have tits and an ass. I'm curvy. But I wouldn't say I'm not fat, I promise. Although I feel like I need to lose a little weight. Like I put on some pounds from the dress. Makes me sad. I like Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul was really good. I love people quoting me when I say that. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, I guess. That's what that means. Wow, why are we getting to like the size of like boobs and stuff, guys? Anyway, you know what? We're not even going to get into that. We're going to get into the sneak. That's what we're going to get into. That's what's happening right now is sneak. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. It's okay. Alright, so... Alright, so let's see here. Here is the sneak. I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat so you guys can read with me as I read aloud. My music together here. Good song to start this off on. That one. Can work. Okay. Alright, guys. So let me copy and paste the video one more time, or the story one more time. And there you go. that's the story, The Sneak. This is gonna be a first time for me. Should be a first time for all of you guys. So I'm excited. This is the last story for the night. And then I'll do like a quick little Q&A at the end. And then I'm going to end the stream on that note. So without further ado, The Sneak. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I've always been naturally sneaky. Without putting any effort into the endeavor, I was always scaring people or at the very least making them jump. Sometimes even when I approached from the front, people wouldn't notice me at all until I was right up on them. Then they would gasp and flinch and ask me why I snuck up on them. Guess I'm just naturally quiet and unobtrusive. As I got into my teen years, I got better at it. I would be there one moment, and after looking away for a mere second or two, I would be gone. Of course, vice versa, appearing seemingly from out of nowhere. A joke even began to manifest itself around my high school that I was related to, usually the son of Michael Myers, because of my seemingly preternatural ability to know the precise moment when someone was going to look away from where I was. Also, being named Michael didn't help any. I remember walking into anatomy class one day 20 minutes late, and the teacher never even noticed. Neither did most of the students, and I didn't even try. I was late. Oh well, wasn't the first time and wouldn't be the last. I just walked in the door, set my books down, and sat in my seat. Having last name near the front of the alphabet, I even had a seat in the front row. When the teacher finally noticed, she said something to the effect of, "Oh, I'm sorry, Michael, I had you marked as absent." She corrected her mistake in the attendance book and went on with class. It was around then that I began to actually practice this peculiar ability. We all know what they say, practice makes perfect, and boy, did I ever get good at sneaking. In fact, I think I actually added new verbs into my repertoire. I excelled at sneaking and also creeping, sidling, slinking, and skulking. I actually bought and read a book on ninja techniques for hiding, diversion, and silent movement. I even went as far as to rent and watch all the old Halloween movies so I could study how Michael Myers actually did his silent creeping, despite him being a fictitious character from a movie with all the benefits of special effects and camera trickery. Every October, I volunteered to work in the local haunted house, and whatever room they placed me in was routinely noted by customers to be the scariest in the entire place. At some point, I acquired a certain pride over my ability, happy that I was able to do something that few, if any others, could not. To say the least, I had gotten pretty proficient at this odd, God-given talent. I know what you're all probably thinking. At some point, I'm going to begin using my stealth ability to go on some sort of rampage, stalking and dispatching my enemies in terrifying, horror movie-worthy murders. However, I am a peaceful and non-violent young man and had no designs with my ability for anything more than occasional benefits and harmless practical jokery. This preface concerning my ability is essential if one is to believe the veracity of my story, which happened a few years ago. I don't recall the exact day or date. I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I was still living with my father as a poor but working 20-year-old on the corner of our street, and literally the corner of our exurb, bordered on 3 sides by a nice forest that went for a few miles before running into the lake. It's not like we lived rurally or anything, but our section of town was pretty secluded and out of the way. I returned home after work on the night in question, exasperated and ready to relax. My pops wasn't around, which wasn't odd. He often spent long nights down at the bar with some of his old union pals. I wound for a while, enjoying the freedom the empty house presented, playing my tunes as loud as I desired and smoking like a chimney. After I deemed I had enjoyed a sufficient amount of recreation, I settled down and prepared to actually get some things done. Seeing as how there was a full load in the laundry basket, I grabbed it and headed for the basement when the washer and dryer were located. When I was younger, I hated going into my basement. Like any other unfinished basement, it's dark, it's musty, it's stone cold and hard, and there are innumerable shadows and places for all nature of dark beings to hide. Plus, When going down the steps into my basement, you're walled in on both sides until you reach the very bottom. So there's no way to see what manner of ghosts or monsters may be lurking down there, waiting to jump on you and rend you to pieces. As time went on, however, that irrational fear began to fade until it might as well have been a ghost itself. So, basket in hands, I had decided to make the trip into the basement as stealthily as possible, always proud to use and practice my ability, especially when hindered in some way, carrying something, noisy clothes, creaking floorboards, etc. Quick, deliberate steps, careful to distribute as much of my weight across as much surface area of my foot as possible, always planting toe first when going downstairs. I was successful in descending the basement steps silent as the grave, even skipping the third to the last step because there was simply no way to put weight on said stair without making a creak of some kind. A diversion or additional ambient noise would be needed to use that stair without spoiling the effect. No need to turn on any lights. Although it was well after 8 p.m., the summer sun was only starting to dip below the tree line, filling the basement with streams of auburn light falling in from the few windows. Besides, this was a stealth mission. No lights allowed. When I got to the bottom step, though, I froze. Since I had made absolutely no noise on the way down, it was easy for me to recognize odd sounds coming from the basement. Just around the corner, to the right, the left was just more wall. Nothing loud and overpowering, just a low, gruff sort of grunting. There were other noises as well accompanying the grunting, a soft kind of scraping. The noises conjured visions of one of those gremlins from the movies of the same name trying to push a huge, heavy trunk across the floor little by little. I wondered if perhaps my dad was the source of these sounds, but that didn't make any sense. He certainly would have heard me jamming earlier, and he absolutely hates them when I crank up my tunes. It's not like him to refrain from coming upstairs and telling me to knock off the racket. And what would he be doing down there for hours anyway? So if it wasn't my father, it had to be some critter from the woods that found its way in and was probably trying to make off with some food it had found. Many animals are known for their ability to hear and smell far better than us humans. I wondered if perhaps I were good enough in my stealth abilities to sneak up on an animal that was probably very aware of its surroundings, seeing as how they can be eaten or any number of horrible things if they are not observant and alert at all times. It presented an interesting challenge to my strange skill. So, I clenched my jaw, tensed my muscles, and prepared to make the attempt. And once again, I froze. The weird sort of grunting became a vocalization of a different sort and louder. It sounded like actual words being spoken, albeit in a language I couldn't comprehend. However, it still sounded as if it were a gremlin making the noise, or at the very least some old crone who smoked 3 packs a day. The language itself was intriguing. It sounded a lot like Latin or something similar, but definitely was not. After a few moments of genuine interest, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I was too preoccupied with my musings to realize something. This was no animal. There was a person in my basement. A person who was doing God knows what other than speaking in tongues. What the hell was going on down there? My heart rate instantly doubled, but being a strapping macho young man, even with no one around, I wasn't about to let myself be scared by some strange old foreign woman or whoever the hell had broken into my basement. It was then that I got a little angry. How dare someone break into my house? This was where I lived. What kind of dirtbag would just break into someone's house? Right about the time my nape hairs and goosebumps had retreated to their normal positions, a new sound began emanating from the basement. This one louder but completely alien to me. I had never heard anything like this before in my life, or since, and describing it proves difficult. It was something between a powerful gust of air and a high-pitched metal scraping on metal sound, both occurring simultaneously. That's the best I can do, and trust me, whatever sound you've conjured in your head to imitate it most likely doesn't come close. Seeing as this was the only time in my life that I've ever heard the noise, I may not even remember it correctly. All I know is this. This sound scared the bejesus out of me. Strapping young man or not, this unnatural sound went right through my ears, bypassed my brain, and cut straight to my spine, unleashing a cold rush within me and freezing my limbs in place. My eyes gaped wide, and I'm pretty sure my eyelids were non-existent at this point because I could not bring myself to shut them or even squint a little bit. The sound happened and quickly faded, but still here I stood on the bottom landing of the basement steps, still unable to see around the corner into the rest of the basement. Thankfully, whatever was on the other side of the wall couldn't see me. I hope. Standing there doing my very best statue imitation was not easy at this point, okay? Sweaty palmed, breath firmly imprisoned in chest, eyes as dinner plates. I think it was about then that I began to actually fear for my safety, and I wished I hadn't been holding that goddamned clothes basket. It was also about then that that weird language began again, deliberate but incomprehensible words. After a few more moments of listening to this infernal monologue, my curiosity simply got the better of me. All fear aside, I simply had to see what was happening in my basement on the other side of the wall, and so I exhaled as quietly as I could, drew in another deep breath, and noiselessly, slowly began to lean forward. Little by little, more and more of the basement was slowly revealed to my personal panorama. First, the old 8 million pound tube TV that should have been thrown out decades ago. No mysterious guests so far. Next, the workbench further back, tools in place and undistributed. No monsters, ghosts, or creatures there. Then, towards the back corner, the washer and dryer undisturbed and silently standing sentinel in their normal place. And next, holy shit! As quickly and silently as a ninja's ghost, I re-straightened my spine, standing upright and stock still. If my eyes were like dinner plates before, they were as a satellite dish now. I had seen it. I had seen what was speaking in that unnerving voice in my basement. But what exactly had I seen? It was a humanoid, bipedal, and crouched near the ground. I didn't get too good of a look at it since I shot straight back out of sight before it saw me. What the hell was that? If that was human, that was one hell of a costume. All my initial espying had yielded was a purplish, reddish ball of fur covering a vaguely human body, crouched low near the ground and speaking in that horrid tone and cadence. Whatever it was, I had never seen anything like it before. I wasn't sure if anyone had. Seems my odd skill did come in handy because if it heard me or detected my presence in any way, it did not display it. Although I couldn't see it, the monstrous chanting never slowed, stopped, or even broke cadence, leading me to believe it hadn't noticed my sweating, shaking presence. Listening closer to what it was saying, it was clear these were definitely words and not just some strange, guttural groans or random, atypical vocalizations. This thing was speaking with purpose, the defined goal on its mind that it was seeking to accomplish. But of course, that inspired the questions: who was it speaking to, if anyone, and what did it want? Almost instinctively, I began to slowly lean forward again. I was pretty positive this thing wasn't ordering a pizza or lifting one of its favorite tunes. If I wanted any hope of determining what this thing wanted, I needed to know more about just what the fuck it was. The thing had its back to me when I peeked the first time so that I couldn't see the face or any details about its front. I hadn't leaned out far enough the first time to even see its head anyway. Slowly, inch by inch, silent as the grave, I again leaned out past the wall. Here we go. Here again. The old tube TV. The sun was steadily finding its way below the horizon, ceding space to the lengthening shadows. Then the workbench. Every inch I leaned seemed to add decibels to the wild incantations the thing was spitting out. Now, the washer and dryer. Muscles strained, adrenaline pumping, and then purple-red fur, including a blood-red tail. Fuck me a tail! Again, on instinct, I straightened back out. Fuck balls, okay. So it clearly wasn't human. I needed to stop ducking back behind the wall and just person up, unisex version of man up, so I could get a look at the intruder in my basement. Damn it! I wished again that I hadn't been holding that fucking laundry basket. Fuck! My spine had seemingly just reformed itself into solid matter again when the chanting stopped, and that horrid metallic wind noise began again, re-melting my spine and causing my heart to beat so hard I was afraid the thing on the other side of the wall might hear it. After what seemed like hours, but surely was only a minute or two, the wind metal noise stopped, and predictably, the vicious chanting and dreadful scraping resumed. I should have went back up the stairs when I had a chance, but was compelled to get a firm look at this being. I mean, how often does one discover a previously unheard of creature making noise in their basement? Was it aggressive or amicable, benign or dangerous? And what the fuck was it doing in my basement? Was it a demon, an animal, a mythical creature of some kind, like a little violet and red Sasquatch? I had to know. And so, with courageous curiosity beating out deliberating fear, I began to lean out once again. You know the drill. Old TV should have been thrown out years ago. Workbench. Looks like Dad could use a new crescent wrench. Washer and dryer. Would I ever get to do the load of laundry sweatily clutched in my arms? And finally, it came into view. Wispy red fur, leading to a slender, slightly motionless tail. The blood-red crimson of its tail darkened into various hues of violet and purple, deepening in color as it got closer to the torso. It was crouched on its two legs, indeed bipedal, and had a wild mane of shocked, wispy red and purple hair coming off its head in an Einsteinian sort of afro, only with longer strands than the deceased German physicist. The hair was clumped in places in dread-like protrusions that ran down the back of the body, giving the appearance of spikes running down its spine and the back of the arms. Its body was slender, but wiry, and all of it that I could see was covered in that same blood-red fur that descended into a deep violet as it got closer to the center of the body. The feet were furred up until the very tips and kind of resembled a cat's paws. It was completely still except for movements it was making with its hands, or forepaws, or claws, or whatever the hell it had, and small undulations with its head, coinciding with its wicked-sounding cadence. It was impossible to say for sure, but it looked like if it stood up, it would be about my height, 6'2", give or take a few inches. I watched it for a little while, my fright-induced adrenaline enabling me to hold stone still, whilst this being went on about its surely nefarious business. The oration and scraping were simple enough to figure out, but even through my fear, I was very curious about what that metallic whooshing was about. I leaned out just a bit farther, far as I would dare, in hopes of getting a look at what, if anything, this creature was crouched over. Whatever it was, it had to be pretty small because the slender being greatly obscured what it was crouched over. All I could obtain during this time were quick glances of an indistinguishable black object. The chanting itself became more haunting and sinister on this side of the wall, sounding as if there were 2 or 3 beings speaking in unison. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might literally leave a bruise on my chest, and I noticed for the first time that I had such an absolute death grip on the laundry basket that the plastic edges were digging painfully into my hands. My breath was shallow and silent, and I was pretty sure my eyes hadn't shut even once in the past 3 to 5 minutes. I watched in graveyard silence undetected while this being went on about its work. Before much longer, it stopped all movement, the scraping and vocalizing again ceasing. Without warning or preamble, the creature raised both arms above its head. In that time, I could see that its hands and fingers were furred as well, except the palms, and colored in that same dark crimson as the tail and feet. Its fingers were human-like, with opposable thumbs, but there was one very defining characteristic. The index or pointer finger on each hand were extraordinarily long. They were at least twice as long as the other fingers and furred only about halfway up, with long black protrusions jutting out of the red fur. At first, I thought they were fingernails, but they were pliable and appeared jointed like a normal finger. A normal human finger, anyway. They were very fine and slender and ever so slightly curved, pointed at the tip, and looked like they were probably very sharp. The appearance of the sinister-looking claws did not do well to reconcile my mania. In addition to its size, this creature also came equipped with features that would enable it to seriously injure or kill me, and all I had was this fucking laundry basket. I didn't even have my pocket knife on me. I suppose I could have used a pair of knee socks like nunchucks, but I doubt a pretty ninja weapon would be much use against those claws. It was all a moot point anyway, because almost immediately after raising its arms, I forgot to mention that it raised its arms in a crisscross fashion because those claws kind of looked precedence at that moment. It brought them down again, uncrossing them as it did, and producing that whooshing noise, a process which it repeated over and over again. It also abraded its claws together as it swept its arms downward, which produced the high-pitched metallic scraping noise. Being able to see the thing also added a new phenomenon to the mix. As it brought its hands downward, the abrasion of its two claws appeared to create some kind of energy, evidenced by a reddish glow emanating from the hands. The glow grew more and more intense with each X-shaped swipe of its talons. After a dozen more repetitions, its hands were barely visible with dark red auras resembling crackling sounds of crimson smoke surrounding its hands. When it finally stopped, I could perceptibly feel the energy coming from its hands, like it was creating a soft wind or gently pushing against me. Not enough to move me, but enough to be perceived. You'd have to experience it to truly understand, but it felt nasty somehow, almost vicious or slimy. It placed its hands on the small black object in front of it. I still couldn't tell what it was, and resumed its protruding incantations. At this point, I was completely lost. Mentally, I had nothing, which isn't far removed from normal, and all I could do was stare wide-eyed and gaping. Shock, fear, and amazement all amalgamated into a single 1,000-pound medicine ball being bounced around my head, replacing my normally functioning brain, with no activity going on up top. My eyes and muscles decided I was to keep standing there like a lump and see what happens. I found out later that my fight or flight instincts didn't fail, but simply didn't activate because the creature didn't know I was there, and choosing one of those options would have alerted it to my presence. Thank you, instincts. The incantations were really creeping me out. I desperately wanted to see what it was crouched over, feeling that this bit of information was immediately valuable to my well-being. I would swear that the creature was saying the words were louder than before, and as it went on this time, its voice definitely began to rise. The increase in noise gave me the little fortuitous boost I needed to attempt stepping out and peeking at what the creature was crouched over. With great care, I took a single noiseless step out onto the concrete floor, still gripping the ridiculous basket of clothes. With wide, roving eyes, I slowly leaned further, just a tad bit more, and a sock fell out of the tilted basket in my hands, crashing softly to the floor, mere centimeters from colliding with the creature's foot. My muscles, every last one of them, tensed and froze. I quietly cursed myself in my head, and when I say quietly, I mean even my inner monologue whispered out of fear of being heard by the mysterious monster in my basement. I was now so close to it that I could detect an animalistic scent, somewhere between a lush, sweet forest breeze and the slight stink of a rotting carcass. The creature seemed oblivious, though, and after ensuring nothing else would jeopardize my stealth, I prepared to take the final step that would afford me a view of what the creature was crouched over. I was successful, and it afforded me a view of what the creature had in front of it. 'Twas a kitten. That's right. It was a little black kitten lying motionless on the floor. It looked dead to my eyes, and its fur was matted with blood, more blood than this little kitty could have possibly contained. Its entire coat was absolutely smattered with it. I knew this kitten. It had belonged to a family a few houses down. It was part of a litter their full-grown tabby had just had. It was the only black one of the bunch, and it had died a week or so after being born. The family knew not why. But what manner this goblinous being had come to possess it, I knew not how or why. The absurdity of the situation I found myself in seemed to know no bounds. The creature's hands were still illuminated with those snapping clouds of crimson energy, and it was moving them all about the dead kitten, almost like a magician would before doing a sleight of hand trick. The light and energy given off by its aura and closed hands was sickly and felt dangerous, but at the same time was beautiful and mesmerizing. It was a strange juxtaposition to experience. I wasn't sure, but I felt like the energy that this being was manipulating could greatly harm me or possibly be amazingly beneficial. Kind of like fire. Applied correctly, its uses are virtually endless and remarkably beneficial, but it can also be exploited for very dire and horrid purposes. In retrospect, I feel like the power this being was utilizing could be employed in a similar fashion. This monstrous, demonic-looking creature looked apparently ready to use such energy. At this point, I began to wonder, should I try to stop this thing? It didn't seem to be up to anything cataclysmic like the destruction of the earth or the enslavement of all mankind. I like to think such things cannot be accomplished with some energy, albeit of unknown origins, and a dead kitten. But all I had was my feeble human musculature and a fucking laundry basket full of clothes. This thing could probably had all the agility and ferocity of a mountain lion, as movies and comics have taught me all creatures of this manner do, not to mention it had either stayed hidden for however long it had been alive, or had killed anyone who had ever seen it before. Not promising prospects for my future. This had been foolish of me. There was no way to know there would be a frightening monster doing God knows what to a dead kitten in my basement, but it had been my decision to investigate further. That was just stupid. I should have tried to creep back up the steps to call the cops or grab a weapon or anything other than sneaking up on an unknown monster that could surely do horrible things to me. So, there I was, standing there sweating, heart pounding, mouth agape, eyes wide open, less than 2 feet from a previously unseen creature holding a full laundry basket. Fear and common sense finally won out over curiosity, and I made the decision to try to sneak back upstairs. As I just started to slowly creep my way back to the landing, the creature's steadily louder orations began to crescendo, freezing me in place again. It flung its arms wide, hands still surrounded by the reddish-purple auras of energy it had conjured, and almost giving me a Charlie horse. As it spoke its final indecipherable word, its voice now channeling Mum Ra from the Thundercats cartoon, It thrust both hands, grabbing onto the kitten, transferring the red auras from its hands to the deceased catling. It seemed to be exerting itself, the bloody corona engulfing the kitten, swirling and billowing and almost seeming to crackle with actual miniature lightning as the creature gently held its hands to it. I began to question my own sanity at this point. This situation I was in was getting more and more bizarre, almost as if I were dreaming. Just when I thought nothing stranger could occur, it would, pushing my heart rate and my sanity closer to the brink. I really have no idea how I didn't go running for the hills screaming bloody murder at this point. I guess I was literally too scared to run for my life. After a couple of centuries passed, or seconds I'm sure, the glow from the aura faded and eventually winked out. The creature removed its hands from the kitten slowly and to my surprise did not resume the chanting. This entire situation had blown all of my assumptions out of the water at every turn. I decided not to make any and just watch. My brain must have secretly made assumptions without my approval because I was stunned once again when the demonic-looking being began to speak again, this time softly and directly the kitten. It was practically cooing to the little creature, and even more amazing, the kitten answered back. It began to mew softly, its tail lightly thumping the concrete. A moment later, it stood up, and unless my eyes deceived me, it was no longer covered in blood. It took a few shaky steps, then proceeded to meow lovingly at the strange monster that had just resurrected it. Well, that was a relief. I half expected it to eat the kitten or rip it apart or turn it into some giant dire monster cat or something. It was such a relief, in fact, that I let out a loud and exasperated sigh, fully alerting the creature to my presence. Crap. The creature whirled immediately, and I finally got a look at its front and face, especially the face, for when it turned around, it was right in my face, and it shrieked an unholy roar at me. Its face was leonine, especially with its wild red and purple mane of dreads, and the mouth and snout were protruded, further resembling a mutant jungle cat. It had fangs at the front of its jaw, top and bottom, with smaller fangs behind it forming a row that dove far into its mouth, which was spread wide as it roared at me, its hot breath like wind blown over a fire. I was close enough to notice horrid-looking bits of who knows what amidst the teeth and strands of saliva. It didn't roar for long. It wasn't drawn out. I'm a T-Rex and I own the world roar, but more of a primal scream. It took a wild swipe at my torso with a hand and one of those massive claws, but luckily, on pure instinct, I flinched. I raised the basket full of clothes, effectively parrying the strike, which was lucky because the basket received one hell of a gash. Also lucky was what happened next. It left. After the wild swipe, the creature made another noise, a more confused sounding noise. In a flash, it turned, and on a combination of bipedal and quadrupedal movements, it almost instantly galloped, ran, leaped its way to the back wall by the washer and dryer. And amazingly, it didn't stop there, for as it made its way, its hands began glowing red again, and it jumped at and into the wall, red auraed hands outstretched towards said wall. A moderate dark red explosion occurred, leaving a large cloud of crimson fumes, and when the scarlet smoke had cleared enough to see, there was no trace of the wild creature. I stood there, dumbfounded. No, more than dumbfounded. Flabbergasted. There was the possibility that the thing would return, try to claim the life of possibly the only eyewitness to its existence, but just stood there. I eventually turned the clothes basket in my hands to see the long gash the creature had left in its side. The basket had a long wound ripped through one side. Some of the clothes were even ribboned too. The kitten was exploring the basement, mewling along oblivious, as if it hadn't just been brought back from the dead by an unknown monster who just jumped through some kind of teleportational vortex or whatever it had just utilized to leave my basement. I scooped the little fellow up, threw him in the basket, and went back upstairs, mouth still agape. When I told my dad what had happened, he asked me for the number to my dealer. He also said we couldn't keep the cat. It worked out. I ended up giving it to my sister. There was no way I was just going to drop off a kitten that had just been resurrected by a strange being at the Humane Society. If the thing grows up to be a monster demon cat, it's my monster demon cat. She agreed to take care of the little guy. I tried to tell her the story of how I came to possess it, and my sister reacted in much the same way as my father did. I figured she ought to know, considering the cat could turn out to be something sinister, and although she wasn't as skeptical as my father, I could tell she didn't believe me either. I didn't really expect her to. After that day, I spent considerable time searching online for any sort of link or connection to what I had just gone through. Everything I found was scant and vague. No pics, no stories, no nothing that even scarcely fit the description of what I had experienced. While researching the creature online is how I came across creepypasta, actually. All I know is this. My sister still has the cat. He hasn't turned into any monstrous beings or exhibited a strange reddish glow, and I am stealthier than a silent ninja fart, for I snuck up on something that comes from the dark, hides in the shadows, and goes bump in the night. And I scared it. And that's it. That was a really good story. Like, that was really good. Well, I do like Pokemon. Alright. So, that is the last story for the night. I really like that line, Hector. That was really cool. But yeah, that was awesome. I liked it. Yeah, that's the last story for the night, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. Like, seriously appreciate it. Actually, you know what? Stop with the creep. Go back to the happy stuff. Alright, so now is Q&A time. I will do a short little Q&A for the next 15 minutes. So you guys got 15 minutes with me to ask me some questions, and I will answer them, and all that jazz. I'm not leaving right now, Kyo. I'm gonna be here for like the next I say 20 minutes. Okay, tell you what. I will end the stream at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's a little under 30 minutes. Aw, hi Tyler. Thank you for coming along. It's okay, Bob. It might be a demon kitty. I like that story. That was pretty cool. I might read it for my channel. There's still a few other stories that I want to, read for my channel as well. Mr. Renegade Shinobi, I notice you. Hi, William Perez. Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat, guys, for the video. This is what I've been listening. I kind of listen to this when I go to sleep sometimes. Viking, samurai, or knight? Probably samurai. Well, female samurai. Like, I would probably be that samurai who, like, masqueraded as a man. What's my favorite candy? I really like Skittles. I'm glad you like the story, Hector. It's actually from, the background music is all Studio Ghibli music. It's music, piano music or jazz renditions of the music from the movies, Studio Ghibli movies. Yes, Kitty Woods, I do draw. Silver Studio for coming. Appreciate you being in the stream. For anybody who's come for the first time, thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you being here with me. It's been a bit of a rough day for those of you who've been with me earlier today. I do feel better, Cassandra. Thank you. I feel a lot better. I just needed to get some stuff off my chest, honestly, and just talk to you guys about what was going on, because I know you guys were really confused about what was going on and why suddenly I'm having to go through all my videos and like remove certain things because of my channel being attacked. I have not played For Honor yet. I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn and I've been playing Persona 5. Actually, when I get done streaming here now, not right this second, obviously. When I get done streaming, I will be going to go play Persona 5 because I've been dying to play it all week, and I've only been able to sit down and play it for like 30 minutes at a time, which is not enough time for you to play any Shin Megami Tensei game. I'm sorry, like that's just impossible. Yeah, my real name is Sophia. I am feeling a lot better. Thank you. I don't know who's attacking my channel right now. I'll probably do another live stream next week, Hector. I want to try and do these once a week. I can't believe I did 3 streams this week, guys. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't know who's attacking my channel. I just know that the purpose of them doing it the way that they're doing it, I know it's because they're trying to like prevent future viewers from coming into my channel and, you know, well, future people from looking at my videos and going, hey, this person's interesting, I want to listen to their videos. Because if you look at the likes versus dislikes, then most people get dissuaded from watching more videos of people's stuff because they don't actually go through and watch their more popular videos because they know that that's like their older material. They go through and look at their newer stuff, and so with the increase of dislikes compared to likes, it makes it look like my material isn't good, and it stops people from wanting to look at my videos. So that's what's actually going on. Rudeski, it's actually it's the second one. It's the Greek, or the Greek way of spelling it versus the Spanish way of spelling it. I know they will, FGS Helmet. I know they will. No, don't kill anybody. It's not worth it, guys. Like, even if I knew who it was, I wouldn't want you guys to go on a witch hunt. You know, because it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that person who, like, puts her... If something's happening to me on the channel, I don't want my personal issues to be put on you subs. Like, you guys are important to me, and I don't want you guys being stressed out with my shit that's going on. That's why I don't really tell you guys what's happening in my personal life, because I don't want to overwhelm you with that kind of stuff, because that's what's going on with me, and that's not what I'm trying to do for you guys. I'm here to provide content for you because that's what I love to do. So it shouldn't matter what's going on with me. But it was just really overwhelming me, and I had to tell you guys what was going on in case you guys noticed that, you know, something was happening with the channel regarding, like, why I was suddenly hiding the ratings of the video. Like, I needed to be able to tell you guys that. So, if the person who is doing this ever reveals themselves, I will handle it accordingly. I don't want you guys to go out and fight him because it's not worth it. And that's not what this is all about. Like, at the end of the day, it's me providing content for all of you. So it doesn't matter what other people think. And I don't want to dissuade future viewers from coming onto my channel, because so many of you guys have come to me and told me that I've helped you guys get through so many things, whether it was surgery or whether it was from a hard experience you were dealing with, or a death in the family. You guys have told me that listening to my videos and listening to my stories have helped you, you know, deal with those issues, and I bring you comfort, and I bring you, you know, I make you happy with the content I bring. So the last thing I want is for someone else to ruin that for somebody else, from someone else who is struggling and dealing with the same thing. I don't want that to be ruined by someone else coming in and disliking all of my videos and dissuading someone from viewing my channel because of all the dislikes and likes. Yeah, Kyo's one of my best friends, guys. We've known each other for a long time, and yeah, the longest I've ever gone without sleep was 96 hours, and I started seeing shit. So thank you, Rudeski. Yeah, Corpse Husband's awesome. I'm glad that I was able to meet him back when I did. So, well, you know, funny story, like, Kyo was actually the one who, started her whole reading group. I actually tell this story all the time to people about how I met Corpse Husband, was because I was part of a smaller horror narrating group called Whispers into Nothingness. Whispers into Nothingness. And Corpse Husband found me there, and then we just became friends ever since, and I just continued doing it on my own channel because he encouraged me. I've never had breakfast in bed, Christopher. And thank you, Taco Cat. I really appreciate you saying so. I just don't want you guys to get in trouble. And I don't want all of you guys to create unnecessary drama, because that's one thing that I do take pride in the horror community, is that I've been able to avoid a lot of the drama that circulated because of it. As far as jealousy is concerned, I don't really know what's going on with that, and I don't really care. That's not what's important to me. I don't know why it's happening. I just wish it would stop, because I know I haven't done anything to anybody. Ane Carmen Bonilla. I am 30 years old. I don't know Alex Haas. Who is that? Who is that, Savannah? You keep asking me. I'm sorry, Silver Studio. Honestly, I think they might just be really busy, and plus they're on different time scales. Like, Sir Aim is pretty good. He's also, I mean, he's from the UK. Gnomes are halfling. I like hobbits. Hobbits are cool. Gnomes are, they're mischievous. I did play a Pokemon game growing up. The first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Red. And I'm And before anyone asks, yes, my favorite Pokemon is Luxray. For the longest time, it was Jolteon, and I was a big, like, electric type Pokemon user. So, like, I had a whole team of electric type Pokemon. Yeah, Kyo and I had, like, super bad insomnia problems. She had it worse than I did. Like, I would go days without sleeping, and then when I came to visit her, she would, like, give me a Soma and make me go to sleep. Because she knew that I hadn't slept in a while. He says he helps me with scary videos. And he says I pay him for the stories he shares with you. I don't know about that. I don't know who that even is. Like right now, the only Alex, like, I've never paid anybody, like, anything outside of, like, doing a collab with them or something. So I don't know who this guy is. Yeah, yeah, I've never paid anybody for anything, that I couldn't do myself. Silver Studio, am I a smoker? No. I used to be. I vape now because I'm trying to quit smoking. I've gone 6 weeks without smoking now, so doing a pretty good job. I did go to the deep web a long time ago. Hey Eden, how are you liking the whole story arc of the Raper? I love it. Tim Sonsky is a brilliant writer. Like, yeah. He's a brilliant writer. I've read a few of his other works outside of The Rake vs. Dogman. He's really good. I support him 100%. If I could give him money without putting myself in the hole, I would totally give him money. Oh, do you know him personally, Savannah? Like Haas, like, this is driving me crazy. I don't know who this is. Like, I have no idea who that is. Like, that's crazy. Are you sure he was talking about me? Alright, Tyler, you should go get some rest. It's really early in the morning for you. Alright, Sir Robert, please go to sleep. Have I ever wanted to make an hour compilation video? I've never really thought about it, but I've had some people ask me if I would, and I totally would. I guess I could just take a bunch of stories that I think you guys might like and compile them together into like maybe an hour or 2 hour long video or something, if that's what you guys want. I know a lot of you guys say that you listen to me while you're sleeping or at work or whatever, so... Yeah, I don't know Alex at all. Like, let's say he says that I pay him for stuff, but I don't pay anybody any money. Like, that I don't do myself. Either I do it as a favor or they pay me for vocal work, you know? Go sleep, Robert. Welcome back, Devin. Oh, that's a good story. Everyone loves Room 733 a lot, and I was really surprised because that was recommended to me by one of my friends to read, and I read it, and it was really good. And CK Walker personally put it on her channel as one of the, you know, if you go to her not her channel, her website, if you go to her website and it shows a list of different videos that other people have done of her works, like 2 of my videos are on there, which is really flattering, like really, that she liked them that much. I hope so too, Charles. Thank you for always being there for me. Hey, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's all about, you know, how you feel at the end of the day. I've not heard the screaming deer. Unless you're talking about the deer that died in, you know, Get Out. You guys will see my face when I hit 100,000 subscribers. I hate that I keep saying that because I really just want to get it over with. But at the same time, I have to stick to my guns because I made the promise that I would do a face reveal at 100,000 subs. So, you know, the best thing that you guys can do for me is to like my videos, share them with your friends, share them on your own social medias, and just, you know, spread the word, post them anywhere that you feel like it. So that way, you know, the more and more my videos get put out there, the more and more people will come and like sub to my channel. And then faster we can get to 100K, guys. So that's like a huge milestone for me, because if I can hit 100K, then I won't have to like be stressed out with my regular job. I can just do YouTube full time, which is what I want to do anyway. And I really just want to go out and do like meet and greets and, you know, talk to people and be able to like, you know, just talk to you guys like I'm talking to you right now, but like face to face. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be great, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. I would love to see all of you guys in person one day, honestly. I don't think any of my fans are creepy. I don't think any of you guys are weird. I love every one of you, and I enjoy talking to all of you. So meeting you guys in person, like at a convention or something, would be a blast. I would have so much fun. Thank you, Ted. Well, I think apathy is sexy. Not really, because if you don't, like, not caring about anything or acting like you don't care is just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like you should always be real and always be honest. Like, I mean, being apathetic just kind of leads to a void of depression and not caring about anything, because then you just start questioning why you're even alive, and that just leads to a whole different dark space of thoughts that I don't even want to get into right now. Well, I made my avatar. Like, I drew it myself, so I guess that's how I chose it. It's okay, it's okay, Silver. You don't have to worry about spreading the word that way. I don't want to inconvenience anybody, you know what I mean? But it's nice to just kind of get the word out. I mean, you can drop my name to your friend, and if he thinks it's interesting, then by all means. But, you know, the important thing at the end of the day is to just, you know, get the content out there, like and share, and all that good stuff. Am I a necrophiliac? No, I don't sleep with corpses. Thank you, Gustavo. I appreciate that. No, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be like an April Fool's joke or anything like that. No, I'm actually gonna show you my face. I have this whole like elaborate thing that I want to do. I have it all planned out, I promise. Gas mask? I'm doing better, Ghost Hound. Or Ghost Bloodhound. I'm doing better. I do Discord, I do Skype, and I talk on the phone, if that means anything. I talk to Corpse more on Skype than anybody else. I don't really talk to anybody else on Skype. I talk to Corpse and Axeman more on Skype. Everybody else I talk to on Discord, really. Alright, Savannah. Aww. Have a good night, guys. I wish I was the voice actor for Mulan. Dude, okay, no lie, Stone Cold, straight out. I promise, if I hit 100K on April Fool's Day next year, I will not April Fool's you guys. I promise, I won't do it. I will not do that to you guys. I used to play games with my fans a lot back when I was more into gaming and I was in part-time status versus full-time status. I did used to do that. Yeah, well, the reason I have my Skype on Do Not Disturb is because 9 times out of 10 I'm like trying to edit or I'm trying to like record and the little blip noise interrupts me when I'm working. Sure, that works, Silver, by all means. I am so stoked for Code Geass Season 3. I'm hoping it's not going to be a sham. That would make me mad. I play mostly on my PC, but lately I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, Final Fantasy 15, and Persona 5, and Tales of Berseria on my PS4 that I got for my birthday this year. Devin, don't have nightmares. Yeah, sometimes I listen to narrators when I sleep. I try not to listen to myself when I'm sleeping because I'm trying to like, well, I listen to myself before I go to bed, not like before I go to sleep, but before I go to bed because I'm doing like critiquing in my head. Oh my god, acrylic Superman. If I did that, that's some heavy planning right there. I don't think I can do that. All right, bye Taco Cat. Hey Harvey. Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. That's what everyone says about my narration style, is like it sounds like someone is telling you a story, like a friend is telling you a story, like, dude, you not believe what the fuck just happened to me, versus going, you know, one day I woke up and there was a bug on my window or some shit like that. I don't know. The Final Fantasy 12 remaster, 12 wasn't really my favorite. Or are you talking about 10? Like Final Fantasy, or is it Final Fantasy? Is it a remaster of 12? I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of 12, or 13 for that matter. I do not have red hair, Carl. Like, I don't look like that. Thank you, Harvey. I like to play with my accents in my videos. My next story will be coming out next week. I plan on putting the next part of Dad's tapes up next week. It's just all gonna be creepypasta dish though, because it's just a tape with just the dad. So yeah, there's that. Love you, Jose. That's pretty cool, Maze. Thanks, Swagger. Thank you, Hector. How crazy is the weather where you're at? We got thunder and lightning with heavy rain and strong winds. It's actually really nice right now. We're supposed to have a really nice weekend, which is great because we have a lot of festivals going on around this time of year. So having really shitty weather would just suck. So it's actually really glad we have good weather. We had weird weather earlier this week. No, guys, I wish you guys would stop apologizing to me about, like, if you sound creepy. I don't think you guys sound creepy when you compliment me on my voice or, like, you know, my narration style or anything like that. Like, I think it's very flattering, so don't apologize and say that you sound creepy. I don't get creeped out by it. Do girls get creeped out by it? I don't know. All right, Christopher. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you stopping by. It's fine, Cassandra. I don't think that you're an old geezer. Make a shrine. Aw, Madison, don't be sad. Don't be shy. We're all free spirit. Oh, your maker's streaming. He didn't tell me he was streaming. Llamas with hats, hello! That's all. That is exactly what it's all about. Come on, guys. Get with the program. If I had to make a shrine of one person. I'd make a shrine to Cry. I really would. With the little dude, the little sup dude. Little armless, little white creature with the one little hair coming out of his head. I would totally make a shrine to Cry. That would be weird though. But I'm just saying, that's what I'd do. Yeah, I work for the news. I'm in news production. I don't like black eyed peas. I don't like it. I don't like black eyed peas. Any food I don't like. I don't like black eyed peas. Anything with Andy. I might stop by your maker stream for a little bit, but I'm not going to get in it because I'm super tired. I've been streaming for 3 hours already, guys. Come on now. I think the demon kitty would win. He would shred him up like bacon. And the dad's tapes are not real, unfortunately, but I edit them to where they do sound real. Eden, oh, Jose. Thank you, Jose. Good night, FGS. Eden, what do you think of the current YouTube situation? And more importantly, how was your day? Anything? The current YouTube situation, I'm really scared. Really, I am for smaller YouTubers like myself because the ad revenue that's being pulled, it's really important for us that, like, when we have ads, I never put ads in the middle of my videos unless they're really, really long. So I always stick an ad at the front of the video and the back of the video. And they're usually ads that you can skip. Although I'd prefer if you didn't skip them because they're not very long ads. But it's going to hurt a lot of the smaller channels who are starting off and just getting started because that's a good chunk of our revenue. Like right now, I can consider myself part-time YouTube status because I make enough doing what I'm doing right now to be considered a part-time job. Whereas eventually I want to be able to do this full-time for you guys. And it looks like now, and I don't even want to do this. I don't want to have to do it. I don't. I want to continue to be able to put free content out for you guys. Hi, Imagination Infinity. I don't want to make anybody pay for content, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you take a few seconds or a few minutes out of your day and watch an ad than have to make you pay to watch my videos, which is why I haven't put a Patreon in place. A lot of people are like, oh, well, if you do a Patreon, I totally pay for you. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to have to make you pay for something that you should already be able to have access to for free. The only incentive that I could really do to give you to want to pay for my videos is that you get to watch it before everybody else. But that's literally the only incentive I have right now, because I'm too swamped and backed up to like make shirts or mugs or anything like that. I would like to, like, I have a few designs in mind, and I'm trying to build up a store for you guys right now to help, you know, support what I'm doing. But as it stands, I don't want to make you pay for content that you should be able to listen to for free. Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. Oh, awesome. You play Mercy in Overwatch, Izzy? I'm a pretty good diva. I'll admit, I'm a pretty good diva. And also, I like the band Black Eyed Peas. I just don't like Black Eyed Peas the food. When you reach 100,000 and I say I've been here since 25,000, would you believe? Of course I would, Devin. I would definitely believe. Yeah, that's what I'm working on, is apparel. Like, I'm currently working on a store for you guys. Who wants a life-sized Eden doll? Yeah, I know. I remember the guy who gave me $100, but like I said, I don't want to. But that's like donations, you know. Like, making a Patreon would mean that you guys would be dedicating funds to me every month, like an allowance or something. And donations are one thing, and I never ask for anyone to donate to me. Like, that's something that it's not required of you to do. It's the option's just there if you want to. Whereas with a Patreon, I would be, you know, working toward a certain goal that I would love to achieve. I would love to be able to do this full time. To just sit at home and make videos all day, you know, like that is a dream, because I have so many projects that I want to do. I have a visual novel story that I want to put together. I have a web comic that I wanted to put together. I have a motion comic that I'm trying to work on right now that I'm currently getting the permission of from an author that he just finished and put on Webtoon, you know, and to be able to have all the time to be able to do that while still doing what I love to do, which is make videos for you guys, that would be a dream come true, while also pursuing my dream and wanting to be a voice actress. Like, it's just one of those things that I've always wanted to do, and I've always dreamed of being a voice actress. So being able to work on Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, and being able to work on Conjurio, which is a new podcast project, and being featured on the No Sleep podcast, like, it literally is a step closer to my dream. And eventually one day I want to be in a video game or an anime or whatever, you know? Oh, Curry sounds good. Skyrim's a good game. Skyrim's great. Don't turn into Dory, Hector. But no, I won't forget any of you guys. If you have to choose between Corpse Husband and Creepypasta, which will you choose? Are you talking about Mr. Creepypasta or Creepypasta? Like, if I had to choose. Or are you talking about Creepypasta Dish? Like, which one is it? I know too many people. I remember finding out about Eden thanks to Busta back when you were 9,000 subs back 2 years ago. Glad to see your channel has expanded. Yes, I know about Rainbot. I did a video with her, actually. Alright, good night. Anything with Andy? I would love to make a movie out of one of my stories. That'd be awesome. Like a little mini web series or something. That'd be cool. Bye, Scary Reptilian. Yeah, I'm still streaming Rudeski, although I am about to wrap up here. Aw. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. You've been with me since 800 subs? Maze, that's crazy. Oh, Kaylin, there you are. I'm wondering where you were. Found out about you by the Rake vs. Dogmas. Okay. Goodbye, Fossil Library. I would freak out if I was a gym leader for a fan-made Pokemon game. That'd be really cool. I know, I'll get there. I'm working on developing my voice all the time. That'd be awesome, Boz. Thank you. It's okay. Right now, I don't know what song's playing. I think it's from some jazzy piano. I think it's from Spirited Away. You're making an app for your programming class, and I was wondering if you could be the voice if I have on it. Huh. Okay, that would be interesting. Well, honestly, it's a tie. Devin, what's the funniest story you've ever narrated? There's two. There's the break room incident, and the other one is Robert the Shadow. So, those are the two that I think are really the funniest stories I've ever read on my channel. They're like horror comedies. Have you heard of Mr. Black Pasta? I have not, Kaylin. I've not. Wow, Hector, you've been with me that long? That's crazy. Oh, I'm Silver. You could have one power, what would it be? Okay, the one power I would have, if any one of you have ever seen Read or Die, you would know that I'm a huge Read or Die fan, and I love Yomiko Reeman's ability, which is called Paper Mastery. Or paper kinesis, which is the ability to manipulate paper, or like all paper, like paper of, you know, any density, napkins, cardboard, index cards, book, like sheets from books, anything, money, anything paper related, and you can like change the density of it, and like she makes a huge gigantic like paper airplane, can fly with it. She created a dome of paper around her that blocked this fire. She was able to pick a lock with like a paper strip that she had. She took a whole roll of money and like used it as a sword. It was really badass. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, it was all made of money, or the sword was, and so I would love to have that ability. Yeah, that's a really funny line, Sansi. Well, I won't do negative ads, and yeah, I don't really do porn or like hentai or anything like that. You know, standard voice work, I guess, would work. I can do commercials. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to look them up and see what's going on. I really need to get back into my weekend spotlight stuff. I'm just so busy because I work on the weekend. I used to not. Yes, I've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jose. It's fucking crazy. I don't know Rudeski. YouTube is going to die. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing power, Silver. I have to admit, it's one of my like favorites. It's awesome. Alright, Bobs, go get some sleep. I thought you were going to bed already. I like Dot, too. Dot is... I like... Animaniacs character, yeah, I like Dot. Wacko is my second favorite. Thanks, Maze, I think. Thank you. Okay, guys. I guess on that note, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm already 16 minutes past schedule. But, thank you again so much, everyone, for coming in and supporting me. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. And like I said, I'm gonna try and do this weekly. Hi, Alpha. I'm good. I'm better. I'm a lot better now. Thank you. In life. I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it for me. Yeah, tea with a little bit of honey is good for you, Silver. I would definitely recommend it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. You're awesome. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I'm gonna, like I said, stream more often. And until next time, thank you so... I know, Alpha, I'm sorry you just got here. I'm sorry. But don't worry. This won't be the last time I'm streaming, I promise. No, you can't control trees. They have to be in paper form, Flying Snow. I know that's a stipulation a lot of people like to ask is, can you control trees? No, you cannot. It has to be in the form of some kind of paper. It has to transform from the tree into paper. Alright, for real though, guys, I'm going to... High School of the Dead is amazing. You haven't seen it. Fucking awesome. But yeah. Love you guys. Miss talking with you guys so much. I love the close-knit family we've created because of this. Everyone have a good night. And again, I'll be streaming again next week. And again, thank you guys who were here earlier and helped me get through that tough heartache I was dealing with earlier. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so until next time, thank you so much. And I know, I do too, Flying Star. I'm actually going to go by there real quick and see what he's up to. For Your Maker. So yeah, everyone go to Your Maker's channel. He's awesome. Go see what he's doing. Go see what he's up to. I'm about to sneak in there and see what he's doing. And then I'm gonna get off and drink a lot of water because I've been talking nonstop. I'll put timestamps later on once this video processes. And, or if anyone wants to, they can put timestamps in here. I'm lazy as shit. Not really lazy. I'm just really tired all the time. If you want to put timestamps for the stories, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll take care of it tomorrow sometime when I get a break. And in the meantime, thank you again. I love you guys so much. My Hellions, you guys fucking rock. You're all rock stars. And I will catch you in the next live stream. Alright, bye guys!